Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. Busy day today here on the program. Happy Valentine's Day. Busy day for lovers out there. Also Ash Wednesday for Catholics like myself. And if you're into that religion, man, Fat Tuesday was yesterday. The end of debauchery. And now we settle down and get back to our normal lives, although nothing normal about how busy it is in the world of sports. Lots of news to dive into. We welcome you in to Sports 56 Mornings on this Hump Day edition. Again, the Wednesday, February 14th, 2024, Valentine's Day edition of the program. I am Greg Gaston, along with producer Zach Boyd. Eli Savoy will be off for a few days, as Eli is now in Hawaii. Yes, he is with the Ole Miss baseball team. They open up their 2024 campaign on the islands, and Mr. Savoy is pinch hitting for David Kellum, so he'll be broadcasting those games in Hawaii. His first trip to Hawaii. It is something special if you have not been to the islands. I've had the fortune to be there a few times, so hopefully Eli will enjoy. He will be back on Tuesday. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Their floor model sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Special financing always available at Family Leisure. And the first hour of the program is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. Currently about 36 degrees, but the sun is going to shine all day long, and the temperature will rise to 63. That's at least the forecast. So it looks like a very, very nice midweek Wednesday weather-wise day for you. Mainly clear skies tonight with a low of 44, so that's not too bad. And then partly sunny for your Thursday with a high reaching 65 degrees. Coming up on the program today, we're packed. College baseball, as I mentioned, Ole Miss, Hawaii, they begin their season later this week on the islands. The Memphis Tigers begin a new era of baseball with Matt Reiser, and he will join us in studio in about 20 minutes. The Tigers will open up their season on the road this weekend at Jacksonville State. Andy Borman joins us at 8:05 as he does every week to talk Tigers basketball. The Tigers get set for a huge 2-game road trip where the team will fly out later today, play at North Texas tomorrow, stay in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and play SMU on Sunday. Quad 2 opportunity against North Texas. Quad 1 opportunity, at least for the moment, always subject to change and usually does change, but a Quad 1 opportunity against SMU on Sunday. Andy Borman at 8:05. Jerry Palm at 8:25, his latest bracketology. DeMichael Cole on the Grizzlies at 9:05. We'll talk NBA here in just a second. And don't blink, because soccer season is just about upon us with Memphis 901 FC. Lawrence Dockery, our soccer insider, at 9:25. We'll squeeze in your calls and texts at 901-360-8255. Always enjoy reading your texts and listening to you when we have that opportunity. Again, 901-360-8255. You can also hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or on the website, sportsmemphis.com. And if you follow me on Twitter, you more than likely saw what I tweeted out yesterday about Cal Ripken Jr., who will be in the area on Thursday. That's a week from tomorrow. He will be appearing in Senatobia, and I'm fired up for it. He'll be at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts, an evening with the Iron Man, Cal Ripken Jr., and we will be giving away tickets the rest of this week into early next week, and so will Bryant and Stats on the Sports Time show, Sports Time on Sports 56 from 3 until 6. So we're going to give you a chance to win tickets, so keep it right here to Sports 56, 98.5 FM. Before we get to the Grizzlies and last night in the NBA and Penny Hardaway down in Orlando for Shaq's big night Let me bring in Mr. Zach Boyd. How are you, Zach?
What's going on, Greg? Everything's well.
Everything's good. NBA, obviously a lot going on as we get ready for the All-Star weekend. Only Vince Williams is involved as a player from the Memphis Grizzlies organization. Is that correct? G.G. Jackson, he's not on the freshman, the rookie part of the Rising Stars, is he?
No.
I didn't think so, but they kept showing a split-screen picture the Grizzlies did on Twitter where it was Vince Williams and G.G. Jackson talking about All-Star Weekend. I was thinking, did he get an invite here late in the ball game? I don't think so. Vince Williams did. We know that. So Vince will be participating in the Rising Stars. How about that? Who would have ever thunk that? Before the season, a guy who was a two-way player wasn't in the plans, to be honest. And then all the injuries gave him his opportunity. He seized the moment, and now he's going to be in the limelight in the Rising Stars game.
Yeah, good for him, man. Like he really showed that he could come out and be a contributor out on the floor. Even though people like myself was pushing for Zaire to kind of step up, or others were looking for LaRavia to kind of show something. Like he showed up, he put on the performance. Matter of fact, it's even with everybody being down, he is still putting up really good numbers.
And once again, it proves the point that you don't poo-poo those second-round picks. Dylan Brooks, right? Now, of course, with Houston in town tonight to play the Grizzlies. G.G. Jackson, another second-rounder. Vince Williams, a second-rounder. So you take those seriously. It's not just throwaway picks because some of those guys really pan out. As I mentioned, the Rockets in town, Dylan Brooks and Houston. The Grizzlies are unfortunately going nowhere, and they've lost 9 straight games. A for effort, but nobody's into moral victories. So tonight they'll take on a Rockets team that's fading. They're fading. They're 24-29. Some pretty good talent on the team. Not the most talented team. They got off to a good start, but they are starting to rack up the losses. And on the outside looking in as far as the play-in is concerned, the Grizzlies tonight against the Rockets, and then the Bucks tomorrow with the Greek Freak in the final game before the All-Star break, and then the Grizzlies won't play again until a week from Friday when they host the Los Angeles Clippers. Last night, combination NBA/college basketball event down in Orlando. The Orlando Magic were playing a game, but the big story of the evening in Orlando was Shaq's jersey being retired. Number 32 was retired and now hangs in the rafters. And Penny Hardaway flew down there for the big night for Shaquille O'Neal. For anyone who thinks that there's some sort of rift between the two or any animosity, no, there's not. There is a friendship that has been there for a long time. I would imagine that at certain times they were really, really close, and at other times maybe not so much, but I think there's mutual admiration for each other. Penny wore a jacket. Did you see this, Zach, his jacket that Penny wore?
Yeah, I saw the inside of the lining.
Yeah, the lining with all kinds of photos of him and Shaq together in Orlando. And then Shaq basically honoring Penny, as he said during the ceremony, a lot of my success comes from you because you took care of me. And remember, they made the big trade with Golden State, the Weber trade, to get Penny Hardaway. And you just wonder if Shaq had stayed in Orlando, if Penny's knees were healthy, my gosh, what they could have done in Orlando. It's unfortunate that when they had the great run, they came up short. But certainly a great moment last night. I'm surprised that Shaq's number hadn't been retired already, but it happened last night. Penny was there, zipped in, zipped out, and will be zipping down to Denton, Texas later today with the Tigers basketball team as they get set for the Texas two-step. I also saw this. Zach, this I just saw a few minutes ago because it just came down on Twitter. Adrian Wojnarowski tweeting out a story that he and Ramona Shelburne did together, got information and compiled it together. And it's about the possibility. Now, the possibility's gone now, but before the trade deadline hit, that the LA Lakers and the Golden State Warriors were talking about a trade that would have landed LeBron James in San Francisco with the Warriors. Over a 24-hour window prior to the trade deadline that included owner-to-owner conversations, the Warriors made an unsuccessful bid to convince the Lakers and LeBron James to consider a trade to pair him with Steph Curry. LeBron has been criticized before. Obviously, when he went to Miami, it paid off, but he was criticized, right? Joining forces with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and now it's commonplace, right? Superstars joining each other, it's commonplace. I wonder if LeBron James feels that the Lakers right now have a better chance to make a run in the West than he with Steph and the Golden State Warriors would. I'm curious. Or was it just, no, I'm not going to move on. I'm here. Because there's a lot of talk about next season and LeBron and Bronny James and that combination. You know, the Knicks have come up. First of all, Bronny James, is he that good? Is he an NBA player? I know if an organization can get LeBron for like his final year, they'll go ahead and draft the kid. But is he a first-round pick?
Oh, I don't think so.
Not now, right?
No.
I mean, if you're just looking at what he's done on the floor, not yet. Maybe never.
He hasn't really shown me. He hasn't shown a lot on, so far this season with USC. He hasn't shown a lot, so I wouldn't just assume that he's just gonna jump into the draft this upcoming year.
Right. Now, obviously, he had the heart issues, which was very, very scary, and it's great that he's on the floor trying to contribute to Andy Enfield's USC Trojans team. But I just don't think, and this includes his days at Sierra Canyon, that he is great. He's very good. I don't know if he's great. But then again, I don't think that would keep a team from selecting him, maybe not in the draft lottery, but if they can have that combination with LeBron. And then what does he want to do? I'm not going to say he has nothing left in the tank because we know he has something left in the tank, even at 39. But that'll be interesting. But I thought that was really neat. When I sat down here to get ready for the show, we were 2 minutes out, and I'm looking at that story. Haven't read the story yet, but the owners of both the Lakers and the Warriors having the conversations to try to get LeBron, at least Golden State trying to get LeBron to team with Steph Curry. There are some people that believe the Warriors are done, but they have won 7 of 8 games. They haven't beaten a lot of stiff competition. They got to win over Phoenix. They got to win over Indiana, and then beat some also-rans. But I don't know. Draymond Green back in the lineup, they're a different team. Now, speaking of Draymond Green, Zach, he's back at it. More with the mouth rather than with the arms and the hands and the feet, kicking people, punching people, strangling people. But he's continued this feud with Nurkic on social media. Green with that podcast, which is a pretty popular podcast, calling him a 300-pound softy. Nurkic comes back at him and references therapy session. In other words, and I'm paraphrasing here, he said, basically get off the podcast, go back to therapy session with a laugh emoji. So people now are jumping all over Nurkic because it's not a laughing matter when you talk about, the mental state of people. But while I understand that, Draymond Green has not learned his lesson. He will never learn his lesson. And one more altercation on the court, I mean a serious altercation, not a bump and pushing or anything like that, but anything that he does out of the norm of normal physical basketball, to me, should kick him out of the game. Not out of the game, out of the sport, out of the NBA. He's had his conversations with Silver. He's had his suspensions. He's gone through therapy. Again, if he wants to have this verbal altercation, so be it. But if it becomes, again, a situation where he does something on the court to endanger the welfare of a player, then they should take drastic measures at booting him. But anyway, that's going on as well. Thaddeus Young, the Memphian, who has had a very good, solid, long career in the NBA, even though he was just traded, subsequently released. Looks like he has found a new team. According to reports, he will sign with the Suns for the rest of the season. So congratulations to Thaddeus Young. NBA to the college basketball world. Last night in Lexington, Ole Miss falls to the Wildcats. Kentucky gets off the schneid, and for the moment, I guess they get off John Calipari's case as Kentucky wins by 12. That breaks a 3-game losing streak at Rupp Arena for the Kentucky Wildcats. So they get off the schneid, as I say, but Ole Miss falls to 5-6 in the conference. So while Ole Miss has had a very good year in Chris Beard's first year, they're 18-6, 5-6 in conference play now. Few more of those conference losses, they start to add up. You're under 500, and you're probably going to be on the outside looking into the NCAA tournament. Ole Miss is good, and that was a big one. And I know it's a road game. It's not that detrimental, but the losses start to add up as they've now lost 6 of 11. Elsewhere in the SEC last night, bad loss for Texas A&M, which hurts Memphis. Memphis was hurt last night by Texas A&M losing to Vanderbilt, and I know Memphis played both those teams and beat both those teams. But they were hurt by Texas A&M's loss, even though it was a roadie, and certainly were hurt by Virginia's loss at home to Pitt. Number 21, Virginia, falling to Pitt 74-63. These losses hurt. For those who don't understand, the teams you played, what they do against other teams is pivotal when it comes down to the net and things of that nature. Now, that's only part of the equation with the selection committee. They take all that into consideration. We'll talk more about that with Jerry when he joins us, because I believe this Saturday is one of those reveals that they have each and every year where they'll take a look at the first 4 seeds, so 16 teams. I think it's the first 4. And we'll talk to JP about that. But bad loss for Texas A&M. Nice win for Jerry Stackhouse and company. They win it at the buzzer on a guy basically falling down, throwing up a shot, and it went in, and they win at Memorial Gymnasium. Also a tight one in Florida. Gators were in control all the way against LSU, and then LSU came back on them. Florida struggled a bit down the stretch, but they get the win. Gators 80-80. Florida, I think, solidly in the field for now as far as the tournament is concerned. A couple of other upsets as they continue. Ranked teams losing to non-ranked teams on the road. That has been a theme. Syracuse beats number 7 North Carolina 86-79. So the Tar Heels lose again. They lost to Clemson earlier. I think it may have been their last game. And Indiana State in the top 25, the Sycamores, for the first time since Larry Bird played there, 23rd ranked in Monday's AP poll. They go out and they lose at home to Illinois State 80-67, a bad Illinois State team, a bad net team, well in the 200s. So Indiana State will drop out of the top 25 undoubtedly and probably not return. So again, you have these upsets, these ranked teams losing, whether it be at home like Virginia, whether it be on the road like North Carolina, and just chaos really in college basketball. There's nothing for sure. I still think Connecticut, when healthy, the defending champions, are the most consistent team. Purdue is really good with Zach Edey, but we saw what happened last year. Any game that's called closely as far as the officiating is concerned, that I think can hurt Purdue, especially if Edey gets some early fouls. Kansas doesn't win away from Fog Allen, so I don't know. North Carolina obviously is vulnerable, and they have some veteran players with Baycott and R.J. Davis. It is going to be a free-for-all. Will Memphis be a part of it? That is the million-dollar question that we will find out in the coming weeks. We will talk more about the Tigers with Andy Borman at 8:05. Couple of other notes before we take our first break. ESPN and the college football playoff, if you missed this yesterday, have agreed to a contract extension, 6-year contract extension, that will keep them together through 2032. The extension, $7.8 billion. That's billion with a B. Again, the college football playoff, ESPN, agree to a 6-year deal. That's an extension. for $7.8 billion. Now remember, the 12-team playoff is intact for 24 and 25. Then they still have to figure out where they go from there. I don't think you're ever going to see it drop down. I don't know if you'll ever see it expand. That could happen, but they still have to do that new contract after the next 2 years. You had yesterday a lot of discussions the last few days about, the remaining 2 teams in the Pac-12 and where they stand, and the model 5-7 to 6-6 and what's happening with that. I think the vote is going to officially come down on February 20th, and I would imagine that that vote will be passed. But it has to be unanimous, and you still have, again, autonomy somehow for the Pac-12, which is now the Pac-2. So you got that going on. Also, Super Bowl notes. Yesterday, by the way, I said, I don't know where I heard that number of $500 million legally wagered in the United States. I was a little bit off. $2.5 billion. $2.5 billion, the projected amount of money legally wagered on the Super Bowl. $2.5 billion, not $500 million. And who knows how much illegally. The Super Bowl 58, drew 23.4 million viewers on average. I think it peaked at 30. The most watched program in television history, the Super Bowl. And it continues to bring in more fans around the world as this unbelievable behemoth will continue to go and sell their product to different countries. Brazil in the 2024 season will be added as an NFL game outside of the continental United States. Also, the NFL Combine dates are set February 26th, so 12 days from now it will begin. It will roll through March 4th in Indianapolis. Michigan will send a record 18 players to the NFL Combine. And finally, from the UFL, we talked yesterday with Daryl Moose Johnston, the Vice President of Operations for the United Football League. Guess what? The Birmingham Stallions, the 2-time defending champions of the USFL, now, of course, merged with the XFL, they have signed quarterback Matt Corral, the former Ole Miss star, drafted by the Carolina Panthers, didn't work out in the NFL, hopes to get back to the NFL with a great season or seasons in the United Football League. Matt Corral with Birmingham. We will take a timeout. When we come back, it's all about Memphis baseball. The season is about to begin, and they have a new man in the leadership role. That's Matt Reiser. We'll talk to him when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the Ping G430 Max 10K driver. Straighter flies farther with Ping's most forgiving driver ever made. The Max 10K. Come in today and test drive Ping's newest driver at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Visit us at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
When a cold keeps you up, try NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor. The nighttime, sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste to give your body the rest it needs to get that cold gone. Wake up refreshed, feeling relieved after enjoying the delicious flavor of NyQuil Severe Honey. NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor, use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Looking for the most thoughtful, most romantic gift for the one you love this Valentine's? At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is what we do. Maybe it's a simple pendant, or maybe it's an exquisite, one-of-a-kind designer ring. Genesis can help you pick out the most memorable and special piece of jewelry for the occasion. And to make it even sweeter, now till Valentine's, whether you spend $199 or $199,000, Genesis will give you some chocolates, fresh flowers, and dinner out at no charge. It's a one-stop ultimate Valentine's experience. When you buy any piece of beautiful jewelry, we'll give you a bouquet of beautiful flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at Restaurant Iris. So join us at Genesis Diamonds. See our spectacular collection of rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, and more. Priced from $199 to $199,000. Let our non-commissioned experts help you find that perfect ring that'll warm their heart and, for years to come, be a symbol of your love. And we'll throw in the chocolates, flowers, and dinner as our treat. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds. On Poplar at Perkins Extended. At quantity, see store for details.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Really starting to build over here on 240 westbound, passing Sam Cooper, headed towards Walnut Grove. As that traffic also increases coming down I-40 in from Fayette County on 40 westbound. As you make your way past 269 all the way up to Whitten Road, better shape this morning than what we had to deal with yesterday. For sure, traffic's on the increase up through the Midtown area on 240 over here at Lamar. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I swear the cross of my calling, on wheels of fire I come rolling downhill. Come on up for the rise, come on up, lay your hands in mine. Come on up for the rise.
728. It's not quite the riser, but it is the rising. Come on up for the rising as a new era begins with Memphis baseball. The head coach, the skipper of the Memphis Tigers baseball team is Matt Reiser. You can follow him on Twitter at MattReiser17. Joining me in studio, the season is finally here this weekend as the Tigers will travel to Jacksonville State. Coach, how are you?
Fantastic, Greg. I appreciate you having me on, my man.
Great to have you here. That's as close as I can get to Riser. I'm going to have to find other songs that have Riser, but nothing wrong about with Bruce Springsteen singing the Riser.
I think my walkout at Tulane was Bad Moon Rising. So,
there you go. There you go. All right. So question number one, I mean, everybody wants to know, first year, you're compiling a roster, you're bringing in some guys, you're inheriting some guys. How do you feel about the team and the challenges going into year one?
Yeah, I've been very vocal about this. The plan was to get in here and make us competitive year one. Again, we've talked about these players have got one career. I'll hopefully be, like Wayne Graham and have a career like that man and be 85 years old where they're kicking me down the mound until I get off the field, But then they get one career, and we want to make sure it's a career and a year that they remember. And so we've got in the transfer portal this summer. I thought we did a really good job of getting some physicality and getting some guys to replace some guys that had gotten a portal and left with Carrick. And, it's just the day and age of the world now. These kids that are here, they're coming to play for maybe a certain coach, not necessarily play for a university. And so when we got here this summer, just kind of told everybody, here's who we are, here's what we are. If you want to stay, great. If you don't, no big deal. We'll go and find some guys that can be competitive, who want to be here and believe in this place like we do. And I thought we did a really good job at this summer. Ford Pemberton, our recruiting coordinator, and Corey Barton, who is a Memphis alum, and our pitching coach, did a fantastic job of just getting that portal and getting to work this summer.
I know what you said because I heard you at the press conference, the introductory press conference. I was there for that. We've had you on the show several times.
Yep.
So I think I know you by now. I know what you're all about, and you're certainly a half-full guy. But why do you think Memphis baseball can become a national brand, can become a program that goes to the tournament more than it doesn't go to the tournament when it hasn't gone in a long time?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Greg. I mean, the thing in this is, every program's got its moment of turnaround, and everybody's got its pinnacle moment that, hey, man, you see it, and everything just kind of stars align, right? And so I've talked about this a few times, that TCU baseball and TCU before Jim Schlossnagle got there. Also, Vanderbilt wasn't Vanderbilt before Tim Corbin got there.
Mm-hmm.
Even back to the old days when LSU wasn't LSU, right? And Skip Bertman got there. I mean, he left Miami to go there. So when you looked at those guys, obviously they saw something key in those programs that they knew that they could build something. And for us, it was, obviously we know there's talent here in Memphis. We know there's talent in the west side of Tennessee and obviously in North Mississippi. And, just an area that we can really dig into that we got to keep them home, right? We got to keep them here. We understand we're in the SEC hotbed, but you have ability here. And then when you have an administration that matches the same expectations that you have to win, right, the level that you want to win at, I think that's always a huge selling point, because when they start winning, then obviously they'll continue to invest in what you're trying to do.
As far as the fans are concerned, there's been a consistent small crowd that backs Memphis baseball, but
Right.
it hasn't really expanded, especially with the students. There seems like there's opportunities out there. I know that you're a visionary. You're thinking ahead, what we can do. How can you get more people involved that want to come, sit down on a nice, beautiful day, watch a game in a beautiful ballpark?
Yeah, well, it starts with relationships. I mean, obviously, we got to be visible. We've got to have our guys out in the community and involved. We got to, with student engagement, I've got to be involved, right? I think that's a huge component of this. And like we talked about, once you get them through the actual door because the relationship has been built, you got to keep them there. So you got to start building the environment, like we talked about with this cooking club and the kids zone and the student section. Miles has done a great job. He's the vice president over there with the IFC. We've got a student engagement on Monday night where they're bringing out the fraternities and sororities. We're going to do a whole introduction with the players and the coaches and show them the highlight video, the run-out video. And then afterwards, they're playing a co-ed kickball game, right, for a tournament. So it's kind of something annual we're going to try to continue to do there at the ballpark and just open up the doors and say, hey, you are the lifeline, you are the bloodline of this thing. Get this thing rocking and rolling for us. And obviously, once that excitement gets built, again, you get inside those gates and you start seeing the atmosphere and the energy inside it. It just feels different when you walk in the ballpark. It's kind of almost like when you walk into Fenway, even when they're not good.
Mm-hmm. You got to think outside the box, right?
That's exactly right, and that's what you got to be creative. We understand where we are. We're not an SEC power, right? We don't have the $60 million facility and 10,000 people to work on game day. But in the same sense, is you can get creative with folks that can help. And the one thing that I will say is that there's been a lot of folks that I've met inside of Memphis that have been very willing to help. Like, hey man, I want to see the Tigers do well. How can I help? How can I get involved? I can't make a $100,000 donation to build the kids zone, but I'd love to be a part of it and be a part of this wagon that's going to fill up here pretty soon. So how can I help?
Mm-hmm.
And those are the things that we're continuing to communicate, that no gift or no time or no effort into this is too little or too much.
All right, before we break down the roster, Drew texted in, and I was going to ask about the schedule. So he wants to know, first of all, is there a schedule out for which Tiger baseball games will be on ESPN Plus this year?
Yep.
And I know that you've added
Yep.
radio games, I believe. I'm not
Correct.
sure.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
the
Yep.
contract dry
Yep.
now.
Yeah, we'll have a final release on that.
That'll be with Flynn Broadcasting. It won't be here with Sports 56, but it will be coming up on a couple of our radio stations, 1 FM, 1 AM,
Yep.
which is great because Memphis baseball has not been on the air since that guy over there was producing games for Brightwell and myself with the campus station. So I know you're looking to get as much exposure for baseball, and I guess the ultimate goal would be to have them on ESPN Plus, all of them, and also on the radio, right?
100%, Greg. And that's what a lot of people ask. Hey, how willing has the administration been to help you out with what you're trying to get built? They've been very willing, right? And then like anything, you want it always done a little bit faster than what it can get done, right? But it does take time and effort, and realize that you're not the only one on the podium, right? That you've got to get some other people to help and get involved, and they've done that, right? So we're on 97.7. We've got 30 games scheduled for radio. We have 14 ESPN Plus games. Obviously, the vision for us is, in the conversations that we had, is, hey, man, eventually get them all on there, all on ESPN Plus, all the radio games. But we had to start somewhere, and I think we got a good little pool to start with for the season.
So you had a presser the other day. I was there and listening to Brendan DeBose, one of your catchers, and a couple guys. They're saying, we're going to be bashing Baskin was talking about it, Austin Baskin. We're going to be bashing the ball. Do you feel right now the offense is ahead of the pitching? Do you expect this to be a fireworks type team with a lot of runs? Give me kind of the lowdown of the team, what you expect.
I definitely think it's a physical team, right? When you look from top to bottom, not a ton of runners. Obviously, we've made our money over the years of being able to run a little bit. I think we have implemented some of that system in here, and these guys have done a good job of being open-minded to it and working very hard to get to that point. And I think we'll have some guys to be able to run that kind of surprise you a little bit. But there's a lot of physicality. Like, you look at just the middle of that meet, that order with obviously Compton and Baskin. I mean, that 3-4 combination. I mean, those guys are 220 pounds. 235 pounds. Those guys don't really need to run. They get the ball above the yellow line and can jog.
They can jog, right?
They can jog a little bit. So, but I mean, just if you look around the entire ballpark, Dante Stewart, the second baseman we brought in from Northwestern State to transfer, very physical, can run the ball out of the yard. He's got a chance for double-digit home runs and double-digit bags because you can run a little bit. Same thing with Marcy, the NC State transfer, the Rice transfer, and Migelski, another young man who's got big-time power, has got some field to run, decent speed. Pierre Seals, a local product out of Dyersburg, same idea. So we've got a pretty good balance. I think that, I probably don't need to be quite as aggressive, maybe run the bases as I have in years past. If they give to us, great, no worries. But we've got guys that we can split the gap, score a guy from first base, or run the ball out of the yard, probably at any point in time in the lineup from 1 through 9.
Where are you with pitching?
We've got a really good core that came back with experience. The reality of it is they all got to be a year better, right? And I think they have done that. I think CB has done a fantastic job with his staff of, coming in, building those relationships with these pitchers, continue to invest in them. I mean, just the amount of money we spent in technology over the last 6 months, we're a little over $50,000 that we've, put into the program to continue to develop these guys and things like TrackMan and Edgertronics and True Media. There's a ton of technology that goes in today's game, right? It just trickled down effect from Major League Baseball, and they've done a really good job of soaking that up and continue to develop and continue to grow. So we feel really good about Dave Warren, who threw 70-something innings last year, but still pitched at a 5.80 ERA. Hey man, he's going to be a year better. He's going to roll into that Friday night role. Just veteran, he knows what it takes. He can control the game, and at any point in time in the game that never is too big for him, right? Whether it's the first pitch of the game in front of 15,000 folks, or whether it's the last pitch of the game blowing a complete game. Luke Ellis and Logan Rushing are two guys. Logan's coming off of injury from last year, but Luke Ellis had a really nice freshman year last year. And then Caden Robinson as well, another young man who had a great freshman year, but we're looking to take significant steps forward that we feel like they had really, really good falls and have a good preseason so far.
Matt Reiser is joining us, Memphis baseball head coach. You can follow him on Twitter at MattReiser17. The Tigers will open up the baseball season this weekend at Jacksonville State. At least it seems like it's pretty decent weather for the end of February. Pitchers and catchers and the bigs reporting today. So get ready. It's here, whether you like it or not. It's interesting because your first year here in Memphis coincides with 6 new teams coming into the conference.
Yep.
So how do you see the conference playing out this year?
Yeah, no, really excited about it, to be honest with you. In baseball, we added 5. North Texas doesn't have baseball.
Oh, 5. Okay, excuse me.
So North Texas, which is insane to me that you're in Texas and don't have baseball.
Right,
but we won't go
I
there.
just assumed.
Be a story for another day. But, yeah, I think the 5 that we added, obviously with the 5 that returned, obviously we talked about it a little bit in the presser. UTSA was top 25 last year for 4 or 5 weeks. I know Hallmark very well. Does a fantastic job. They'll be right back in that mix again. Charlotte was in a regional final last year. FAU with Jim McCormick, and he's like one of the godfathers down in Florida and Southeastern college baseball. He'll have those guys rock and roll. I think they've been in regional 6 of the last 9 years. So right off the bat, you're talking about some pretty heavy hitters, that have been within the last 5 years. And then you go to Rice, right? I mean, obviously Rice, we know what they were in the early 2000s, 2010s, and they've slowly but surely tried to rebuild, and they've got a Friday night guy that is an absolute dude. I think he was number 2 prospect in the league. So, when you add those guys and you look what UAB's doing investment-wise into baseball, they've spent a few $1 million there. Very similar to Memphis, right, that they're, hey, man, we're tired of not being any good. We're in Alabama, we're in Birmingham. It's time for us to get some players and rock and roll in baseball. I think as a whole, I think it's a 3-bid league this year, and I think you can look at a future, possibly 4-bid league.
It's interesting. You were talking earlier about, the coach making the difference because programs, some programs obviously have been good forever, but a coach can make a difference. look at Rice.
Yeah, Wayne, man, he's just, you talking about a legendary coach, man. I got a chance to sit down with him in 2012, and you think, hey, man, he's a little bit older in his career. One of the wittiest and most intelligent human beings I've ever sat down with and talked just life, not just only baseball. I mean, the baseball side of things, he blew my mind, but just the life component of it, just as witty and as with it as they ever get.
What's the most sage advice you've ever gotten from a coach, and who was it?
Probably one of the biggest pieces of advice. I was really frustrated in 2015. We had won 42 games, right, regular season. We'd just gone 25-5 in conference play, which was a conference record for most wins in the conference play with 3 less games. And we didn't get in that large bid. And I thought we were a team that was worthy of obviously in that large bid. We had a bad weekend on the conference tournament. That was pretty much it. And we had a rotation set to win a regional. We had a team that was offensive enough to win a regional. And I was frustrated. And I called one of my mentors. I won't mention the names on air, but and said, "Hey, man, I'm frustrated. I'm getting ready to get out of here. What job do I need to go to? Where's the next step for me? And maybe I'm looking at this job." And say, "Hey, man, slow down for a second. Make sure you're running to something, not from something." And that really resonated with me, right? And so when I continued to still be there in Hammond and the opportunities continued to arise, it was like, "Hey, man, make sure this next move is the right move, right? That you think this thing can blow up and that God's calling you to be there." And I've taken that, obviously a piece of advice for the last 10 years, almost decade, and I think that's a big part of the reason why I took Memphis.
That's good advice, even for everybody out there that's listening. Don't quit something because you're frustrated if there's nothing there to land, right? If there's nowhere to land, you have to have a landing spot, even as much as you can be frustrated from time to time within a job. Okay. When we talk NIL, we often talk football, basketball. But NIL is for all sports, for all athletes. We know baseball, everybody doesn't have a full scholarship.
That's right.
It's divvied up. It's a lot different. So how is that NIL world, and how has it affected you as a coach who's been around quite some time, well before NIL came into play?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a revolving door, and it's changing every day. It's a very again, you go back and look at football, basketball, they're always the mainstay, right? To kind of start the generation of the next what's coming.
Right.
And then you see it coming down the chute, obviously, to baseball as well. And we're getting in that era now, right, where, just this past summer, there's programs they're good programs, but they're offering kids $200,000 in NIL money. And I'm just kind of scratching my head going, these guys have been in regionals in, 10, 15 years, and the kind of money they're investing, into some of these players. And for us, I don't think that's the space that we play in, right? I mean, we try to do a little bit this fall, and some of the guys we were going up with, we had a water pistol and they had a water cannon, right? I mean, Arkansas was shooting right back at us with double the money and triple the money. It's like, hey, we can always outbid you. So, again, I think in our sport, it's about a reward, right? I think it's about rewarding kids who have had good years, have done a really good job of putting the program on the map, have been great ambassadors for us as a program and spokesmen. They've had that image that we want in the community and out there, the presentation that we want. So you reward those guys, right? I mean, hey, I know you can go probably get a little bit more in a portal, but here's just your reward. And that's, at the end of the day, is it really worth it, a couple $1,000 or $10,000 to make a life decision, with the network that you build and the people that you build relationships with. And I'll always go back to this, once you walk out that door, like everybody understands it, but, that relationship goes a little south whenever you walk out on a teammate or a coach as well.
There's enough really good baseball players or athletes in any sport to go around. I know it's a challenge when you have national champions all around you, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, you have Arkansas, Tennessee down the road.
Just love it.
Yes, but again, to have a guy with your enthusiasm, with your resume, with your track record, I know there's a lot of excitement. By the way, folks, if you go to the website and go to Go Tigers Go and check out baseball, I believe they've already listed all the promotions.
Oh, yeah.
I got a email yesterday with the promotions for the games. Unbelievable. Yeah. So go there and check that out. Look at what they have for promotions for whether it be midweek games or weekend series, and see what floats your boat, and make sure you get some tickets and get ready to come and watch an exciting brand of baseball. Matt, we can't thank you enough. We look forward to obviously talking to you throughout the season. I look forward to being a part of the broadcast on ESPN+. Thank you so much for your time.
Greg, as always, man, appreciate you having us, and Go Tigers Go.
He's Matt Reiser, Memphis baseball coach. You can follow him on Twitter at MattReiser17. We'll take a quick time out. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts for an evening with Cal Ripken Jr. February 22nd and celebrate a true champion. Ironman Cal Ripken Jr. played 2,632 consecutive games for the Baltimore Orioles. This 19-time All-Star, 2-time American League MVP, and Baseball Hall of Fame inductee is a true baseball icon. Get tickets at HeindelCenter.org to see Cal Ripken Jr. 7:30 p.m. Thursday, February 22nd at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts on the campus of Northwest Mississippi Community College in Senatobia.
How many times have we said that Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect bar, is not a sports bar? Granted, much of the year, sports are one of the main attractions at any bar. But at Bell Tavern, a great time can be had without having to keep checking the score. It's a slow time of year for sports, but it's never a slow time of year to go to a great bar with the perfect atmosphere, coldest beer, and the nicest people you're likely to meet. Chances are, even if you're a huge sports fan, when you leave after a visit to Bell Tavern, you'll be surprised to realize you never thought about them once. You were having too good a time at Bell Tavern.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Looking for the most thoughtful, most romantic gift for the one you love this Valentine's? At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is what we do. Maybe it's a simple pendant, or maybe it's an exquisite, one-of-a-kind designer ring. Genesis can help you pick out the most memorable and special piece of jewelry for the occasion. And to make it even sweeter, now till Valentine's, whether you spend $199 or $199,000, Genesis will give you some chocolates, fresh flowers, and dinner out at no charge. It's a one-stop ultimate Valentine's experience. When you buy any piece of beautiful jewelry, we'll give you a bouquet of beautiful flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at Restaurant Iris. So join us at Genesis Diamonds. See our spectacular collection of rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, and more. Priced from $199 to $199,000. Let our non-commissioned experts help you find that perfect ring that'll warm their heart and, for years to come, be a symbol of your love. And we'll throw in the chocolates, flowers, and dinner as our treat. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds. On Poplar at Perkins Extended. In quantity, see store for details.
The President's Day sales event is on strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. How about $7,000 off all 2023 Dodge Charger RTs in stock? We Gossett. How about 0% for 72 months on all 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorns? Yeah, 0 for 72 on 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorns. How about $8,000 off 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limiteds? We Gossett at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. There's no reason to shop anywhere else. Get to Gossett on the Pike today. Charger $7,000 off, Grand Cherokee Limited $8,000 off, and 0% for 72 on all 2024 Bighorns. So drive past the rest and come to the best Gossett on the Pike, or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Charger PH 548-192, MSRP 46205, Cherokee PC 662620, MSRP 55760, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Loving you weather, times are good and bad, happy and sad.
Our very own Al Green on this Valentine's Day. We welcome you back to the program. Great to have Matt Reiser on the program. Yes, baseball is here, ready or not. Pitchers and catchers reporting today in the Grapefruit League, the Cactus League. We'll have exhibition games before too long. The current odds, I'm looking at SI Sportsbook, the current odds to win it all this year. The Dodgers, who seem to be the favorite just about every year, and now with Shohei Ohtani, plus 350 to win it all. The Atlanta Braves plus 650. The Astros plus 900. The Yankees, my Phillies, the Texas Rangers, all plus 1,100. Then you go to the Blue Jays at plus 1,200 and the Orioles plus 1,400. After that, Seattle and Tampa at plus 2,000. And then Arizona, who got to the World Series last year, and the New York Mets plus 2,500. The Cardinals are plus 3,300 to win the World Series. At the bottom, the Oakland A's plus 30,000. Where are they playing? I don't know. There's going to be more conversations about continuing the lease, at least for now, in Oakland. I still think they're going to Vegas. I have no idea what's happening with the Oakland A's, but they are plus 30,000. But I mentioned the Baltimore Orioles at plus 1,400. Join the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts. If you haven't been down to the Heindel Center, it's beautiful, down on the campus of Northwest Mississippi Community College in Senatobia. A week from tomorrow, the legendary Cal Ripken Jr., the Hall of Famer, will talk about his career, talk about the streak, talk about everything in his life, the dedication it takes to become a true champion. He's known as the Iron Man. Cal solidified his legacy by playing an astonishing 2,632 consecutive games for the Orioles, 19-time All-Star, 2-time American League MVP, Baseball Hall of Fame inductee. I had the pleasure of being able to cover him for quite some time with my time in Maryland, not on a daily basis, but enough where I was there and got a chance to talk with him. Anyway, he is going to be speaking a night with Cal Ripken Jr. at the Heindel Center. You can buy tickets at theheindelcenter.org to see Cal Ripken at 7:30 on Thursday, February 22nd. But I have a pair of tickets. For you baseball enthusiasts out there, please, if you're not a baseball fan, don't call in. But if you're the fourth caller at 901-360-8255, truly love baseball, truly respect the great Cal Ripken Jr., and want to listen to his story for free, 901-360-8255. The fourth caller, you got a pair of tickets to go see Cal Ripken Jr. on Thursday, 1 week from tomorrow in Senatobia. Again, we'll be giving away tickets throughout the week into early next week. Also, Sports Time on Sports 56 with Bryant and Stats. They will also be giving away tickets. I believe we do have our winner. Thank you very much. But again, we'll be giving you a number of opportunities to go see Cal Ripken Jr. I plan to be there. I am looking forward to it. Just one of the greats of all time. Speaking of greats, I told you yesterday that time permitting, and I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to dive into the quarterbacks, right? The greatest quarterbacks of all time. And I'd love to hear from you also via the text, Sports 56 listener line, but text in at 360-8255. This is my criteria, and everybody's entitled to an opinion, and I know how extremely tough it is to compare eras. It's more of a pass-happy league now. I understand we have more multidimensional quarterbacks in the league. You know, the rarities with Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick, and now almost everybody can run. Doesn't take away from the greatness of certain quarterbacks. Obviously, winning is extremely important, but winning the most Super Bowls isn't always the end-all, be-all. Now, with me, Tom Brady is the GOAT of quarterbacks. He has 7, but it doesn't mean, in my opinion, Pat Mahomes is going to have to win 7 or 8 to surpass him. But there is a big difference between 7 and 3. But Patrick Mahomes, as I've said, I said it before the Super Bowl, where I'd rank him if they won, and then I said it yesterday. I said it Monday. He is number 2 on my list. So my top 10 quarterbacks of all time, again, using my criteria, use your own criteria. This is not players I necessarily like or dislike. I love Patrick Mahomes a lot more than Tom Brady, and I love Johnny Unitas, one of my favorites of all time. You know, other ones like Aaron Rodgers, I don't care for, but I rank them without bias. Tom Brady, number 1, Pat Mahomes, number 2, Peyton Manning, number 3, Joe Montana, number 4, Johnny Unitas, number 5, Drew Brees, number 6, John Elway, number 7, Steve Young, number 8, Aaron Rodgers, 9th, which is lower than a lot of people have, and Roger Staubach, number 10. Others who I considered, Troy Aikman, Fran Tarkenton, Terry Bradshaw, Ben Roethlisberger, Bart Starr, Jim Kelly, Warren Moon, and a shout-out to a guy I never saw but saw highlights and know all about his numbers, Slingin' Sammy Ball. There are other great quarterbacks, obviously. Maybe I missed one or two. I know that guys have put some huge numbers that aren't on my list. It's virtually impossible to get it down to 10. It really is. And then to put it into some sort of a semblance, some sort of order. But that is mine. Again, love to hear from you via the text, Sports 56 listener lines. Text in. If you want to text in just your top few, that's fine. If you want to go top 10, I'd love to read those and hopefully be able to do it on the air. But just to get a kind of a feel of where you guys are as far as ranking quarterbacks. Now, there are some right now that are playing that have a chance in the end. Who knows where they'll be? But Pat Mahomes has already done enough at his tender age to put him on my list at number 2. Zach, would you agree with that? I would imagine that you and most people, I know you're entitled to an opinion, everybody out there, but I think you're probably a little bit out of your mind if you don't think Tom Brady's number 1 on the list right now.
Right.
Pat Mahomes is certainly moving up the list, but I got him number 2 all time.
I think, and it's always from a generational standpoint,
sure,
because everybody's going to say, for example, you're going to say either Unitas, Montana, and Steve Young or whatever.
Right.
Like, so it's always a generational conversation in a sense. But for me, like, I think Mahomes is like 2 or 3. Like, I still have Peyton, even though he only has 2 Super Bowl rings, I still view Peyton as one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the league. You
could easily make that argument. But to me, not just because he has 3, but the way he has performed in the postseason throughout his career, the big moments, the ability to scramble and make plays. Peyton Manning was just a brilliant, cerebral quarterback who had a great arm, not the greatest arm, but a great arm, and anticipated receivers' cuts, had the ball there, an amazing quarterback. But to me, Mahomes is an absolute Houdini. He's a magician who can make something out of nothing. To me, he has surpassed Peyton. He is number 2, and it's not, again, because of the number of Super Bowls. Aikman's got 3, and he's not in my top 10. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's a bit overrated. I think he's great. Don't get me wrong. I think he's, I forgot. I actually forgot one. I right now I just looked and I forgot one. I forgot Brett Favre. Damn. I went through this list and went back and forth and I forgot Brett Favre. I had him written down somewhere and then I accidentally crossed it out. Oh, man. I did all that work and I'd have to put Brett Favre in the top 10. So I think I would put, man.
You see how fluid this conversation is?
I know. Well, I knew it was. I knew it was going to be. Brady, Mahomes, Manning, Montana, Unitas, Breeze, Elway. Then I'm going Favre 8, Young 9, Rodgers 10. I got to bump Roger out. I hate bumping Roger Staubach out. But Brett Favre is a top 10 quarterback. He's a 3-time NFL MVP. I know some people don't like him, that it doesn't float particular people's boats, especially with everything that's happened here recently with the law and all that. But Brett Favre, to me, is certainly a top 10. So think about that. Text in 901-360-8255. I'll get to those, again, time permitting, a little bit later on in the show. When we come back, we open up hour number 2 talking Tigers basketball. Whoa, what a huge week it is for Memphis. Andy Borman will join us. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hour number 1 of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you each and every day by the great folks over at East Memphis Ace Hardware. You've got a project to do around the house. One place to go. East Memphis Ace Hardware. They've got every supply you need. Maybe it's some of those Benjamin Moore paints. Maybe it's some tools. Maybe it's the paint brushes, paint rollers, those types of things. Maybe you need the hammer, the saw, the drill, whatever it is, for whatever project you need to get done. Nuts, bolts, screws, all of that stuff. Everything you need. East Memphis Ace Hardware has that. Plus, they're a platinum dealer of the Big Green Egg. All the eggs, all the accessories, other grills, their key fobs. Save you a lot of money over the dealership, I'll tell you that much. All of these things, you'll find everything you need over at East Memphis Ace Hardware, and they've got a great staff to help you find exactly whatever it is that you need. They'll help you find it right there in the store. Again, corner of White Station and Quince, that's where you'll find them. That's where you're going to find everything you need, and a great staff to help you find it. East Memphis Ace Hardware.
Shop, compare, and save from hundreds of experts to turn your dream home into a reality. We have everything to help you remodel, refresh, and beautify your home inside and out. So come on out to the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. You'll find special show pricing on kitchens, baths, patios and landscaping, flooring, cabinets, windows, roofing. It's all at the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. For more info, visit memphishomeshow.com. That's memphishomeshow.com.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to ask you a question. As you think about a Valentine gift for your lady, I want you to think about how big her smile will be, how long that smile will last. A nice box of chocolates might last 3 days, and then it's gone. A romantic dinner for two, just the two of you, might last 3 hours at the most, and then it's over. Even a beautiful arrangement of flowers is only going to last at the most a week or so. So what can you do to make that smile and that joy last? The answer is simple. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and we can show you gifts that she will cherish and enjoy for years. For over 38 years, we've been wrapping red Valentine packages, making thousands of Memphis men heroes. Whether you spend a lot or maybe not so much, you can't go wrong with a stunning piece of jewelry from Russell Brothers Jewelers. Beauty, quality, value, and service. That's what we've provided for our customers for over 5 decades. Let us help you make your Valentine happy. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park, we got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
It's leap year, so jump into big savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike. New 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. How about 7-passenger seating? Get 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease, and don't forget, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE 722-812, MSRP 21,590. Sorrento PG 242710, MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card, or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew. Wednesday is Wing Wednesday with sweet fire chicken wings and fries for just $18 and $2 off draft beers. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. We still see this heavy traffic flow coming in from Fayette County on 40 westbound, approaching 269 from Canada Road all the way up to Sycamore View Road. It can get pretty congested at times. Traffic's still a bit busy also on 40 east across the bridge over from Crittenden County as you come in from West Memphis. Still not too bad up through South Haven right now. It's still moving on 55 northbound all the way up to Brooks. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It's a little mellow morning here on Sports 56 mornings. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Welcome back. Hour 2 of the program. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd, Eli off today. He will be off until Tuesday. He's traveling with the Ole Miss Rebels. They're now actually in Hawaii for the series between the Rebels and the Rainbows, and poor Eli in heaven in Hawaii. Does he get the trip during the winter to Saskatchewan? No, he gets to go to Hawaii, but some people are lucky like that. We're in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Their floor model sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 37 degrees. It's going to get up to 63 today. Sunshine. Looks like a beautiful Wednesday. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 44. Second hour of the program is brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. Again, if you have not gotten your loved one anything for Valentine's Day, you're in trouble, brother. You're in trouble. Hustle on over today to James Gaddis Jewelers as soon as they open and purchase something beautiful for your loved one. And again, women, you can do the same for your men. They have beautiful watches and all types of great jewelry at James Gaddis Jewelers. They're your family's jeweler at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. You can always shop online 24/7 at gaddisjewelers.com. They are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters, a part of the Memphis fabric for a long, long time. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. Before we bring on Andy, did get a few texts on my list of quarterbacks. Somebody said no consideration for Brett Favre. Yes, I had overlooked Brett Favre. I put him back in, Brett Favre, in at number 8. Somebody said no mention of Dan Marino. Again, somehow I overlooked Dan Marino, but I am not putting him in my top 10. I know he's one of the greats of all time, but who am I knocking off that list with no Super Bowl wins and 1 Super Bowl appearance? And then we got one other text from George. George says Jim Hart. George, Jim Hart, top 10. Jim Hart, maybe top 50. Time now to talk some Tigers basketball.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers basketball. Joining Sports 56 mornings is Tigers assistant coach Andy Borman. Now, here's Coach Borman with Greg and Eli.
He is Tigers assistant basketball coach Andy Borman. You can follow him on Twitter at Andy_Borman. He joins us every week during the Tiger basketball season. I hope you didn't forget Valentine's Day.
No. Absolutely not. Been married 14 years. I am not making that mistake because I want to make it to number 50.
Have you ever made that mistake?
Of course.
We all have, haven't we?
Absolutely. But the key is then you scramble and find something at like 5 p.m., you know, like, and then you cover. You know, that is the one benefit, the only benefit of social media is like, ooh, it's Valentine's Day.
Right.
Good heads up.
Yeah, you're reminded a few times. Yeah, you don't want to run over at CVS or Walgreens and pick up, what is it, Stover's chocolates or whatever, and she looks at you and goes, what the hell's that? I mean, that's what you got me? If you're getting chocolates, you get Dinstall's. You don't get Stover's, but...
You got to go to a good bakery. You got to get, I mean, we're past the chocolates. We're on like full chocolate cakes at this point. But yeah.
So Penny last night in Orlando to help with the tribute to Shaquille O'Neal, had his number retired. I'm sure he's back now, a quick trip, but that's kind of cool. I tweeted out, I said, Penny's just a cool dude. I mean, there were people that thought there was like a rift between those two. No rift. He was there to support Shaq. Shaq said great things about Penny. What a great relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's so cool, you know, like, because we're with him every single day, you know, as Coach Hardaway, right? Mm-hmm. And then something like that, and you're like, holy cow. Like, I knew it, but the reminder is just jaw-dropping, right? Like, this dude played in the Olympics and won the gold medal. You know, so there's so many cool things about Coach Hardaway, but he's one of the best people in addition to all of his basketball accolades.
Well, the last time we spoke to you, we talked about, they're all important games, but you had to go to Philly to play Temple, and then you were looking for revenge against Tulane. You win both those games. Have you, as you two once said, have you found what you were looking for?
I think we're getting there. We're we're headed into a huge week here, and I think after that slide, putting 3 wins together, and we've gotten better, that's something Coach Hardaway is saying, and talk, we are getting better. Are we there yet? No. But are we continuing to get better? Yes. So do I think we found something? Absolutely, but we sure as heck cannot relax, right? And we've spoken about that with this team over the course of the entire season, right? So I think it's walking that fine line, hey, we cannot relax, but we're getting better.
Well, it doesn't appear that you're going to get help from anybody. You're going to have to do it yourself because Virginia loses last night at home to Pitt. That doesn't help. Texas A&M gets beat by Vanderbilt. That doesn't help, even though you also played Vanderbilt and also beat Vanderbilt. But Texas A&M, Virginia losing doesn't help you. You have opportunities this week, at least right now, with a quad 2 at North Texas, a quad 1 opportunity against SMU on Sunday. And, of course, that changes as we move along. It's not when you play them, it's what they are at the end. And all this stuff, is analytics. It all measures into the minds of the selection committee members. But now as you said, you got to take it up a notch. There's no time to relax. There's no room to relax. But you're going from Temple to Lane, with all due respect, to an improved North Texas team and then a very solid SMU team who you beat here, but you know that they are much tougher down there. So what is it going to take against these two opponents specifically as we talk about X's and O's?
Well, I think these are two of, right? Not the only two, but two of the hardest playing, toughest teams in the league, right? Like if you just want to talk about getting into a rock fight, that's what this is.
The physicality of these opponents.
Absolutely. The effort, they are going to play hard every single possession of every single game. They don't take plays off. That is a talent, right? Because not everybody can do it, or not everybody chooses to do it. That's part of their identity, and so for us, it's knowing that and being ready, hey, let's let's get ready to step into the ring And we're not going to be dancing in this boxing match. We're just going to stand in the middle and hit the heck out of each other like a Rocky movie. So that's what this is going to be, and we got to be up for the fight. And so that's step one.
You go into Philly and get the big lead, and they come back on you. You take on Tulane. You're up 25. You win by 12. Still a solid win. Never in doubt that game. But instead of winning by 30 or 35, you win by 12. What is it about, and it's not always the second half. Sometimes it's reversed. But in this case, in the case of Temple, it was, I don't know if it's a letdown. Is it the other team stepping up, knowing that they're going to get embarrassed if they don't pick it up? What do you think it is? Can you pinpoint why you have these lapses, even when you play well?
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's, part of it is just human nature. Like you get comfortable, and we do, Coach Hardaway and the entire staff, like we are all over these guys, to not get comfortable and try to turn it into 4-minute games, as opposed to just like slowly watching your lead dwindle down. More than anything, we can't do that against a team like North Texas. We can't you just can't play with fire. So I think it's just attention to detail and staying aggressive. I think it's a problem we've struggled with all year. So why did we do that, in previous games in the first half? Because we didn't respect our opponent the way we should have, and it bit us in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
And why did we do that in the second half? Because we have a lead we feel comfortable with. And sometimes it's bitten us in the butt and sometimes it hasn't, but it's the same problem, right? It's just a timing issue. And I think the good news is that we know, and our guys know, like this is crunch time, season on the line time. And hopefully that helps preventative, because we've said the dang thing 100 times. And 100's low, maybe 1,000, and it just needs to kick in.
Eli's not here, but he's asked this question to me, and kind of rhetorical question. When you have a guy like David Jones, first of all, there's a lot of times where before the first timeout, the first TV timeout, like he comes out of the game. Yeah. I don't think is there a stamina issue? Because David Jones should be playing 35 minutes a game.
No, it's not a stamina issue, and by the way, like this is you so much of this, right? And by the way, is Eli in Hawaii right now? Does he get to ask questions from Hawaii?
No, he is.
That's incredible.
He asked this the other day. He's in Hawaii. I got the short, straw. He got the large straw, and he's enjoying the islands. So at least it's going to be 63 in Memphis today and sunny. So it's not like it's 20 and snow.
Yeah. Record this and send it to him while he's having his pina colada and a pineapple this afternoon. No, I think a lot of it is just, honestly, strategy. It is not a stamina issue. But, if you sub David early, and then you put, whoever you want in the game for him, then what that does is that allows you to put him back in when you start subbing your other starters. For example, it helps you prevent having Javon Quinterly and David Jones on the bench at the same time.
So you're staggering. He's trying to stagger.
I don't want to speak on Penny's behalf, but that is what I believe. And by the way, David Jones has never had an issue putting in whatever amount of time we want him to play. If, if he needs to play 40 minutes, trust me, he's willing. But it's also, and we've spoken about it, not specific to David, but specific to the whole team. Look, you have to be careful how many minutes you play these guys. One, because it's a long season, but second of all, because they still need to play defense. And they still need to rebound. And if you play them a certain amount of minutes and they start resting on defense, that can hurt. So but it is not like, as far as the timing of that initial sub, that is not a rest issue.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah. That is a managing the lineup and rotation. And by the way, that could change the next game. That could change the next game. You know, but that's how I read it.
But I'll tell you this. If I'm the captain of the ship, I'm going down on that ship with David Jones playing 35 to 38 minutes, Javon Quinterly playing 35. And this is assuming that they don't get hurt, tweak anything, or in foul trouble. I'm going down with my best players for the bulk of the game. And Penny has spoken recently about limiting the rotation, and I'm still trying to figure that one out because there's still a number of players that play, and he's without Jalen Young. By the way, is Jalen Young going to be healthy for the Texas games?
I sure hope so. You know, I sure hope so. And I know that he is getting better, you know, but I also know that for him to be what we need him to be, he's got to be 100%. So I think he's getting closer, but I couldn't say one way or the other. I think a lot of that will be determined today.
I think, and this is just my opinion, you know a lot more about basketball than I do, but obviously Jones and Quinterly's been really good the last couple of games. You need that from Quinterly every single game. Obviously, you need to keep doing what David Jones is doing, maybe limit the turnovers, but David Jones doing his thing. But you need a third scorer. I think I know Tomlin's getting around 10 a game, but I mean a third guy who can hit the outside shot. And that should be Walton, but I have never seen a guy go as hot and cold, mostly, unfortunately, cold this year, than he is. He is the epitome of a streak shooter. He needs to get on a hot streak. I think it's pivotal to have a third scorer.
Yeah, I mean, and don't forget, you know, to you know, take your point and then put it in bold and underline it, you know, like losing Caleb Mills, you know, clearly makes that need greater.
Sure.
You know, but
that horse isn't going back into the barn. That's done.
No, correct. But I also think that can be done, you know, and we know how good Walton is, and that can be done by him. I also think it can be done by committee, you know, and I think that we've seen, you know, Malcolm step in. I think we've seen Nick Jourdain have a big game. I think we've seen Naquan, you know, so it doesn't have to be like, let's anoint this third guy and that's who it's going to be at all times. That third quote unquote scorer, you know, can be either by committee or by rotation, right? Like whose game is it? Yeah. Who has, like, so much of this is like, who has the matchup, right? Like who has the matchup? Is it Walton? Is it Malcolm? Is it Nick Jourdain? Is it Tomlin? You know, and that just depends on who you're playing against. You know, so it really could be, let's figure it out.
Makes sense.
But I think, yeah, and I think we need that. You know, for us to take a step, we need that. We also, for us to take a step, we need to guard. You know, we need to guard, and then we need to stop playing the scoreboard.
Right.
You know, and so the cool thing, you know, with this team, you know, is like, and I know that it can be frustrating, but it also can be very, very positive. You know, a lot of teams just are who they are at this point in the year, and we can get so much better. Like a lot of teams are capped out. This is just who they are. Mm-hmm. And we still have so much room for growth. You know, and we can, like, that's scary, right? Like if we can start clicking these things together, you know, we can be extremely dangerous, you know, and so now it's just a matter of it has to come together because the clock is ticking.
Yeah, you played 3/4 of the season. I would hope, you know, there's some urgency, right? But to your point, it's maddening when you have Ron Hunter come out and say, if that Memphis team plays the way they did in the first half, they're the best team by far in the league. But you could also take it, but if they play like they did in the second half, they're not. That's finding consistency with a sense of urgency for 40 minutes. If you got that combination down, you guys are going to be tough to beat. But any type of lapse, like if you give up 49 in the second half against SMU, you're losing. You're losing against Florida Atlantic. You're maybe losing against Charlotte. So you know this. I'm preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's to find that sense of urgency for 40 and for every game, and to also play like you did, like a house on fire in that first half.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's just the giant elephant in the room. Like,
Right.
and everybody knows it's there, and it's got to happen, you know. And if it does happen and clicks in, I mean, I wish like you guys knew how much we really preach this, because it is so consistent, you know. But if it clicks in, we are going to be the team that no one wants to play. And if it doesn't, we're going to be the team with a lot of regret.
Right.
You know, I believe it's going to click in. I think our team believes that. You know, I think we had a hiccup in the middle of the season. You know, and we watch other teams have hiccups left and right. You know, but we had a hiccup, and I think that we've gotten back on track.
Okay.
You know, and now we're going to go out, you know, down to Texas and put it together. That's what I believe with my whole heart.
Well, I certainly know, and everybody knows that you have the capability of doing so. I do know this, that I don't believe the league is in fear of you guys after having that midseason hiccup. They look at that and go, they're vulnerable. So you won't have the fear. You're not going to put the fear of God into these teams. So it's going to be a challenge each and every night. You are certainly capable of doing it. Hopefully it continues here in Texas. Huge games, and that we're talking about 2 more wins and a 5-game winning streak when we talk next Wednesday. Safe travels, Andy. Thank you so much as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, you guys got to let me know if Eli is a colada guy or a daiquiri guy. We got to find that out.
As long as it has alcohol in it, he's everything.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Andy.
Bye.
Andy Borman, Tigers assistant basketball coach. But it's a business trip for Eli, right? He's doing the games for Ole Miss. He's not going to be having a good time and partying in Hawaii. What, are you kidding me? All right, we need to take a timeout. When we come back, Jerry Palm, his latest bracketology. We'll talk to him when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new TaylorMade QI10 Max Driver, combining TaylorMade distance with the forgiveness of 10K inertia. Experience your drives in 10K. Visit us in-store for a free custom fitting at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050. or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew. Wednesday is Wing Wednesday with sweet fire chicken wings and fries for just $18 and $2 off draft beers. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
They were attending to a stalled vehicle a few minutes ago. It was a stalled truck actually on 240 southbound near Norris. There's still a lot of traffic volume over here on 40 westbound, passing Sycamore View Road, trying to get up on that flyover there. Some of that traffic still getting off onto Sam Cooper. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
But I just can't get no relief, Lord. Somebody, can anybody find me? Somebody to love.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of the program. I see what you did there, Zach. Double dose of Queen. Why is it a double dose? Because we had the music to bring you back from the break, and we also have the Jerry Palm introductory music.
It's time for Sports 56 Mornings Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm, college football and basketball writer and bracketologist for CBSSports.com. Here are Greg, Eli, and Jerry.
The great Jerry Palm joins us from CBS Sports, CBSSports.com. It's just about that time where we go to CBSSports.com every 2 seconds, even though Jerry's not updating every day, but we want to check his latest bracketology. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. A Queen concert is broken out, JP.
Yeah. That's always good.
You don't mind that. Hey,
not at all.
Is it, this is going to sound so stupid, but is it weird to say, like, me to say to you Happy Valentine's Day, or is that safe for just like your son or your father or something like that? Like, do you say that to, like, buddies and friends and guests and just people in general that are of the same sex?
I don't think so. I don't think that's really common, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think it's common, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't think so. Well, I mean, we've known each other a while, right? So, yeah.
Go with the Seinfeld reference there. Hey, is Saturday the top 4 seed reveal or whatever it is?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the NCAA bracket reveal show is Saturday on CBS. I want to say noon Eastern. It might be 11. I should probably know that because I'm on the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to be part of the show, right?
Yeah, well, I just go out there and they take me around and tell me where I need to be.
You don't even know what time it is.
You know what? When you get to this time of year, I don't actually know what time it is. It's like it's a good thing you called.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but it is. It's an hour before the games start on Saturday, and I think games started. Our first game might be at 1, but I think the show might be at 11.
So they'll reveal the top 16.
Correct. They're top 16. So what happens every year about a month before selection is the committee gets together and they go through. It's kind of a training mock exercise for their own benefit, so that new committee members have a chance to go through the process before they get to the actual selection meeting in March. So they do kind of a dry run, and then about 6 or 7 years ago, they decided, hey, why don't we put this on TV? Our results on TV. So they have they'll reveal their top 16 as of Saturday morning, and then it'll be useless after that because, of course, games start right away and everything changes. But you'll get a snapshot in time of how they feel about it then.
How good have they been since they started this public reveal? How accurate?
How good?
How accurate?
They're not predicting. So there's no. It's 100% accurate because it's how the committee feels about both teams at that time.
Okay, let me reword.
They're not predicting March.
Okay, but how often is the 16 that they come up with a month before the selection show hit?
Never. It's never going to hit all 16.
No, but like on average, 14 of the 16, 12 of the 16?
I haven't even tracked it.
Okay. All right, here's Jerry's.
But I would be surprised if it was as many as 14.
Okay, fair enough. Jerry's right now with his latest bracketology, which came out on Monday. His ones are UConn, Purdue, Houston, Arizona. His twos are Tennessee, Kansas, North Carolina, Marquette. His threes are Iowa State, South Carolina, Alabama, and Baylor. It's crazy, South Carolina, where they are, but it's understandable. Yep. And then his fours are Clemson, Duke, San Diego State, and Illinois. Let me go back to Kansas. They can't win on the road. They're a number 2 seed. How vulnerable are they to really drop?
Yeah, I mean, they may, because they lost on the road again since, I did that bracket on Monday. They've really struggled on road in conference play. I mean, it's weird because it's been that kind of a year. Ranked teams losing, or top 10 teams losing on the road to unranked teams at an unprecedented rate this year. Mm-hmm. Kansas is maybe the poster child for that. But it's obviously not just them. It's just been that kind of a year, and I don't know why. I mean, there's a lot of people trying to explain why, and it could just be one of those things. 1 year's not a trend. So, but it's weird in Kansas. It's like Purdue loses at Nebraska and Northwestern, where they play like crap every year. But those are borderline tournament teams. Kansas is losing to the worst teams in the Big 12. They're losing at UCF, they're losing at West Virginia. I mean, those losses are much more. If you lose to K-State, and K-State's unranked, and they're having just an okay year, may not make the tournament, but you can understand losing at K-State. It's if you should be able to handle, if you're Kansas, road games against the worst teams in the Big 12, and they didn't even handle those.
Mm-hmm. Right. Doug, by the way, texted in. I'm not sure if you ever got to the time, but he said the NCAA bracket preview, 11:30 Central Time this Saturday.
Okay.
So there you go. Thank you, Doug. Thanks for telling Jerry what time he needs to be up and about.
Yeah. Like I sleep in that long.
I'm kidding. All right, so let me ask you this. UConn, 22-2. Your Purdue Boilermakers, 22-2. Houston Cougars, 21-3. Unless it's an epic fall, those three are pretty solid as 1 seeds when it's all said and done. Don't you believe?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Arizona, though.
And not in that order. Well, I don't know what order you gave them, but Purdue is 1, UConn's 2, Houston's 3. And they're pretty solid in that order, although UConn has a chance, I think, with their schedule to make up a little ground. But, Purdue and UConn, I mean, UConn's number 1 in the polls because the polls measure the length of your winning streak. But the Purdue's got, 15 quad 1 and 2 wins, and nobody has as many. And they've got 8 quad 1 wins, and UConn and Houston both have 8 as well. But, UConn and Purdue both played Gonzaga, neutral site games, both won. That is UConn's second best win. It is Purdue's 7th best win.
Wow.
And that's why Purdue's number 1 instead of UConn.
But I'm looking at the other possibilities. Again, those three look solid. Arizona's 19-5. They're a little shaky. They're a good team. They're a little shaky. But then I look at what you have for your twos. Kansas City, we just talked about that. They can't win on the road. I think they're going to struggle.
And lost against them.
So I don't think they're getting a 1. Carolina has now lost at Syracuse, lost to Clemson, right? Marquette, sneaky good, but Tennessee is the one I'm looking at if they can survive. But the SEC, they've taken some hits. The SEC is back and forth. But right there, I don't see Kansas, North Carolina. Tennessee's going to be tough, but maybe Tennessee can get the 1. Marquette could be that sneaky team that gets a 1 seed.
Yeah, and Marquette still has a home-and-home with UConn to play.
Oh, wow.
In the regular season. So, big opportunities for Marquette to make a move. So that 4th spot, has been a revolving door. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 4 different teams in the last 4 brackets in that spot. So Tennessee was there, and then they lost to A&M, who then turned around and lost to Vanderbilt.
So, what a bad loss.
So, I mean, but that's A&M. That's why A&M's a bubble team, because of their last 2 games. It's a perfect snapshot of that. But, Tennessee definitely has a shot. I would favor Tennessee or Arizona. I think it's going to be one of those two. Arizona's got a better schedule in terms of trying to run the table, which is probably, and if they run the table, I don't think anybody catches them. Tennessee has a chance to win arguably the best league, one of the two best leagues anyway. And that certainly would be in favor for them. Kansas and North Carolina seem to be not interested.
Kentucky put out the fire, at least temporarily, yesterday after losing 3 straight at Rupp, and they beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss is the one I want to ask you about. They're now 18-6. They're 5-6 in the conference. I know you've said before that record in conference is not that much of a factor, if it's a factor at all.
No. Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
Not on the team sheet. Not a consideration. Don't give me conference record.
Okay, so we won't worry about the conference record. But as of Monday, you had Ole Miss as a 10. They lose at Kentucky. Not a bad loss losing on the road. But how vulnerable is Ole Miss? I mean, they're certainly trending toward bubble-licious, right?
Oh, I have them on the bubble.
Okay.
They're on the bubble. If you're a 10 seed in my bracket, you're on the bubble. So
where's bubble start? 10?
At least 9s.
Okay.
With this much time left, at least the 9s.
Okay.
And I might throw an 8 or so on there as well. And then 9s and lower. So I mean, they won at A&M. They beat Florida at home. That's kind of it. You know, the only bad-ish loss is at LSU, and it's not that bad. But they played a poor schedule. They don't have a lot to show for it. At some point, they're going to have to beat somebody. To get, if A&M's their best win at the end of the year, they're not going to make it. They're just not.
Okay.
So they have to do better than that. And I didn't think that's the first time I'd seen them play. I watched the first half and change of that game. And I didn't think they looked that good. But
the big Kentucky guy blocked 10 shots.
Yeah.
For goodness sakes.
Well, that was like the first half.
I mean, that was crazy.
I mean, they looked really disjointed offensively, I thought. But it's a small sample size for me, in terms of seeing Ole Miss play. But, I didn't think they looked particularly good. And Kentucky gets Trey Mitchell back, and that obviously helps. And they were, I'm sure, especially fired up after losing 3 straight home games for the first time ever in that building. So they had a little bit extra for Ole Miss, I think.
Your last 4 in currently, Texas, Utah, Nebraska, Colorado. Your first 4 out, New Mexico got a big win.
Yeah, big
over
time
Nevada.
for them.
Cincinnati,
Yep.
Gonzaga got a huge win. Gonzaga did. And then Memphis.
That Gonzaga's spot is after that win.
After
New
the
Mexico's
win. Okay.
spot is before the win last night.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at Utah, and now mind you, I don't know a lot about Utah's team. 15-9, 48 in the net, but they're still in. That's 15-9.
Well, okay, that's okay. 15-9 and 48 in the net would not be unusual for a team near the bottom of the bracket. I mean,
no,
it's just those
I understand.
numbers.
I understand. I'm just like,
no, they are. They won at they beat BYU. They won at St. Mary's. They beat Wake, Colorado. I mean, there's nothing really here that overly stands out, and there's nothing really here other than an inability to beat Arizona State that's overly offensive. So you could legitimately leave Utah out, and nobody would miss them. I just think that there are other teams. This is a very vanilla resume. It's not missing any of the big check marks that you want to see, the ability to win away from home, stuff like that. But it also doesn't, really overwhelm you.
Yeah,
in
I understand.
any great way either. So it's a very vanilla, inoffensive tournament resume. And if that's all you got, you probably ought to do something to spice that up.
All right, let's get to our legally obligated Memphis questions. I'm just looking. I know the net's not the end-all, be-all, but I'm looking at your first 4 out. New Mexico net 22, Cincinnati 34, Gonzaga 24, Memphis 75. It kind of stands out like a sore thumb. They've won 3 in a row. They have gotten off the schneid, as they say, but they have some.
Memphis, by the way, does much better in the metrics.
Yes.
That measure the strength of your resume.
Yes, than the margin of victory ones, like net and KenPom. All right, so North Texas tomorrow night, which is right now would be a quad 2. Quad 1 opportunity against SMU. They got 2 still to play against Florida Atlantic.
Yep.
So, again, A lot has to do with what everybody else does.
Correct,
Memphis has to keep winning.
Yep. My advice for Memphis would be to assume you cannot afford to lose again before the conference tournament.
Right.
That you should just assume you've done all the damage you can afford to do to this resume. Now, because you had a stupid 2 weeks at the end of January, now you have to win at North Texas. You have to win at SMU. You may have to sweep Florida Atlantic. I mean, you just have to assume that you can't afford to damage your resume any further. And you have to kind of bolster it. And, you've got games left where you can do that, but they should just operate under the assumption that the tournament has started for them now.
I don't think there's any question, and I think you're right that you can't assume anything, that you better go out there and win the games. I think, and this is just an opinion, I don't know, you know this stuff like the back of your hand, I don't, but I think if Memphis loses at Florida Atlantic but wins everything else and goes to the tournament championship, I think they're in. I just look at that.
Who did they lose to in the championship game? Florida Atlantic again?
Yeah.
Well, I would like their chances, but that's way too far ahead to look.
I know. I understand. I mean, we could be singing a whole different tune, or I can at least next week when I ask you questions about Memphis dropping one of the two in Texas or both. I mean, obviously, if they lose, they're in deep, deep trouble, and they're going to have to win the conference tournament.
Deep trouble. They're already in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
I'm just saying,
they're in the deepest of troubles. It can't get any deeper.
I might be the only one even having them this close to the bracket.
I think you are. I think
I don't look at other people's stuff.
I think I looked at Lenardi. He doesn't even have them there. He has I think he does first 4 out and then next 4 whatever.
He goes 8 out.
Yes,
yeah.
I don't think he's in there 8. So you've
actually
given him some decent love. You've given him some decent love. But hey, Jerry, it didn't help last night that Virginia lost at home to Pitt and that Texas A&M lost at Vanderbilt. Because these are teams Memphis beat. I know they beat Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt's a non-factor. They lost.
There are also teams ahead of Memphis in the bracket,
which is hard to believe.
They might be competing with A&M for a spot. Virginia, they could be competing with Virginia for a spot.
Head to head. Oh man, just doesn't have that pizzazz like it does with football. All right, my friend, you're still doing just Monday, Friday, right?
Yeah, Monday and Friday brackets for probably until the conference tournaments. When the conference tournaments start, that's usually when I start going to daily.
Go Saturday. Go Tux and Top Hat. Come on, man.
Tux and Top Hat.
Top Hat. We're a Top Hat.
I would probably get sent home, I think, if I showed up in a Tux and Top Hat.
Thank you, JP. We'll talk next week. We'll watch you on Saturday.
All right, thanks.
That's Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. He joins us every single week. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. I told you, went to a Super Bowl party on Sunday when I got back from New Orleans. They were serving up Corky's. Delicious barbecue. Man, oh man, was that fantastic. You can enjoy that Corky's barbecue as well. You can dine in at any of their 4 establishments. You can drive through, no contact delivery, just carry out or have any of the services deliver to your home or office, wherever you are. When you head on over for lunch or dinner and you get an entree, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $6.99. Maybe you don't feel like barbecue. Well, they got an award-winning catfish plate to die for. I'm not a big catfish guy, but I'm told that it's one of the best catfish plates that you'll get in the city of Memphis. They also have tamales. They even have burgers. The barbecue nachos are fantastic. The hot wings, the cheese and sausage plates. Great dinner rolls that you get, not just... Sometimes they just throw out dinner rolls to throw them out. These rolls that they have at Corky's, which I think for Lent I'm going to stop eating bread because I'm getting too fat. But those are the things that just are fantastic. So I would suggest that. Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, Goodman Road in Olive Branch, Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. They're open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. And remember, you got a graduation party later on in the year, a little birthday, anniversary celebration, whatever it may be. You can reserve their private party room at either the Cordova or the Olive Branch locations. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Shop, compare, and save from hundreds of experts to turn your dream home into a reality. We have everything to help you remodel, refresh, and beautify your home inside and out. So come on out to the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. You'll find special show pricing on kitchens, baths, patios and landscaping, flooring, cabinets, windows, roofing. It's all at the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. For more info, visit memphishomeshow.com. That's memphishomeshow.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseburgers.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's leap year, so jump into big savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike. New 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. How about 7-passenger seating? Get 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease, and don't forget, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21,590, Sorento PG 242710, MSRP 33010, Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Are you ready to start a rewarding career that's bigger than you? Join us on Saturday, February 17th, 2024 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for our hiring expo at the Memphis Police Academy, 4731 Academy Drive. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. If you want to serve the Memphis community, join the Best in Blue. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Hour number 2, we're wrapping it up. Getting ready for a busy hour 3. DeMichael Cole will join us to begin hour 3, talking some Grizzlies who are back in action tonight against the Rockets. I wonder if Dylan Brooks will be on his best behavior for Valentine's Day tonight in his return to Memphis. He's already made a return, but making another return. What do you think, Zach? DB on his best behavior tonight?
No.
No, of course not, right?
No, especially the fact that the Grizzlies been bad, and he could just kind of just put more salt on the wound. It's like, you know.
He's loving it. Do you think he wears something Valentine-ish when he walks into the arena tonight? Will he be wearing something that has to do with love, Valentine's Day, some kind of red, some heart stuff?
I think so.
He will, won't he?
I think he would.
By the way,
I think he would.
I got to be honest with you. I'm so tired of the pictures, the video of the players walking in, whether it's football, basketball. Who cares? I mean, it was okay a couple of times when they really wear something like Victor Wembanyama, when he was like the Thin Man, he had the Thin Man book in his hand. Did you see that? He's carrying the Thin Man from Stephen King, the book in his hand as he's dressed with the thing over his face.
Oh, you talking about for Halloween?
No, he did it the other night too.
Oh.
Victor Wembanyama. But, that's something unique. Okay, I'll buy that. But just like, hey, that dude's got a shirt and pants on, and look at those sneaks. Fantastic. That is just great. Ron texts in. He says, according to Jerry Palm, Memphis is going to lose again. Let me tell you something. If you go to Ken Palm, friend of the show, Ken Pomeroy, he has Memphis projected. This is not a prediction or his opinion. These are the numbers, the analytics. He has Memphis losing at North Texas. He has Memphis losing at SMU. He has Memphis squeaking out a win over Charlotte at home on Wednesday. And then he has Memphis losing at Florida Atlantic in their next 4 games. So, yes, the uphill battle for the Tigers is like climbing Mount Everest. And it's hard to believe that they are at this point after the start they got out to. But it's still doable, as Andy Borman said. They've won 3 in a row. Have they figured it out? Can they figure it out for 40 minutes? I don't know. I think the odds are against them. Can they win the conference tournament? Certainly they can. But, right now, not looking good. Not looking good. North Texas team behind them in the standings. SMU, I think, will be the tougher of the two on Sunday. Yesterday, we were talking about a couple of things. Alabama, according to reports, has their new offensive coordinator. It's tight ends coach Nick Sheridan being promoted. Wow. So it won't be Grubb, obviously, who's now going to the Seattle Seahawks, came from Washington with Kalen DeBoer. It's going to be Nick Sheridan, who has experience as a tight ends coach. He was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a co-OC, maybe at Indiana. He's been at Washington. So there's a relationship with DeBoer, but Nick Sheridan, according to reports, will get that gig. Also, we were talking with Moose Johnston yesterday, Darrell Johnston, the vice president of football operations for the United Football League. And Eli was asking him about rules. And we were talking a little bit about the kickoff. And he said they'll be coming out soon. Well, they came out yesterday afternoon. So here are some of the rules for the United Football League, which, of course, Memphis and the Memphis Showboats are part of that league. Points after touchdown. Teams will have 3 scrimmage plays, run-pass options following a touchdown. You can't kick. 2-yard line, you get a point. 5-yard line, you get 2. 10-yard line, you get 3. Kickoffs, as we were talking about with Moose, will look more like traditional college/NFL kickoffs, but will take place from the 20-yard line of the kicking game. So the thing that they had in the USFL, not going to happen, at least not the first year. Other kicking touchback rules. All touchbacks on kicks, punts, or kickoffs will be placed at the receiving team's 25-yard line. Any punt that goes out of bounds inside the receiving team's 25 will be considered a touchback and placed at the 25-yard line. Non-kicking touchbacks will also be placed at the 25-yard line. So they're trying to limit coffin corner kicks at the 5 that go out of bounds at the 2, and it's tough for the offense to get moving. They're going to give offenses more of an opportunity by starting them out pretty much at the 25. Alternate possession option. While onside kicks, of course, are always allowed at any time during the game, teams will have an alternate option to retain possession in the fourth quarter. If a team is tied or behind during the fourth quarter, it may elect to retain possession after a score with a 4th and 12 from its own 28-yard line. One of the leagues used that. I think it was the USFL. May have been the XFL. I was watching both, but they used something similar. Alternate possession option. Well, I just talked about that. 2 forward passes. How about this? Teams will be allowed, as they were in both leagues last season, I don't even remember this, to throw 2 forward passes on one play. The ball cannot cross the line of scrimmage at any time prior to the second forward pass being thrown. We're not talking about a lateral, pass behind the line of scrimmage, and then a pass, which is, you see that in the NFL all the time. We're talking about 2 forward passes. Let's see. Defensive pass interference. Defensive pass interference will result in a 15-yard penalty or a spot foul if the foul occurred less than 15 yards downfield. Intentional defensive pass interference will result in a spot foul if it is beyond 15 yards. So in other words, a normal pass interference, like in the NFL, it's a spot foul all the time. Here it's not unless it's determined it was intentional. And then replay reviews. Designated members of the officiating department may stop a game at any time before the ball is next legally put into play to review a play if the play is reviewable. There is reasonable evidence to believe an error was made in the initial ruling, so that would have a direct competitive impact on the game, so they'll review it at any time. These reviews will be made from a secure location separate from the site of the game. Any call or non-call related to player safety is also subject to review at any point during the game, as well as any officiating ruling in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime. Each coach may challenge any ruling, including fouls or potential fouls, one time during the course of a contest. Provided the team has a timeout remaining, a successful challenge will not result in a loss of a timeout, while the timeout is lost if the challenge is unsuccessful. And overtime will consist of alternating attempts to score from the opponent's 5 with no kicks allowed. It will be a best-of-3 format or until a winner has been determined. That's the rules for the UFL in the upcoming 2024 campaign. When we come back, we're talking Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save on bulk purchases of select insulation from trusted brands like Green Fiber. And there's more. Save 10% when you buy 6 or more select interior pre-hung and slab doors. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Our mission, to exceed your expectations, provide quality service with urgency, and be there for when you need us most. There is nothing more frustrating than a clogged drain, shower, kitchen, or toilet. They disrupt your life. But don't worry, Choate's is here to get those drains flowing again. With the latest tools, technology, and expert professionals, we're ready to tackle any clog, anytime. We also believe in the power of preventative maintenance, and now is the time to be proactive with Choate's $93 drain inspection. This special offer includes a camera inspection of your sewer with a full assessment of your drainage system. That's a $199 value now for only $93 this month. Give your family the peace of mind they deserve and prevent those unwanted clogs. Call us today at 347-8086 to schedule your $93 drain inspection. And remember, Choate's, let our family serve your family.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
morning, still some heavy traffic over here on 40 westbound as you come past Germantown Parkway all the way up to Witten Road. Still not too bad on 385 Billmores Parkway on to 240 as that traffic continues to build up through the Midtown area on 240 North here up by Lamar. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out online, tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
What you see in her, you ain't seen in me, but I guess it was all just make believe. Oh,
Zach, don't slow jam, baby. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, February 14th, 2024 edition of the program. Normally the halfway point of the month of February, but it's a leap year, right? We got 29 days. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd producing. Eli is off in heaven. He's doing some Ole Miss baseball this weekend in Hawaii. Yes, they traveled to Hawaii last night into the wee hours, and he'll have the call on the games this weekend in for David Kellum. Good on Eli, who will return to the program on Tuesday. Coming up a little bit later on in the hour, for all you soccer fans out there, our soccer insider Lawrence Dockery, Memphis 901 FC, just around the corner for the start of their new season. And we're going to talk Grizzlies in just a moment with DeMichael Cole, as we do each and every week. The Grizzlies, in the midst of 3 games in 4 days before the All-Star break, they've lost 9 straight overall. They got the Houston Rockets tonight and then the Bucks tomorrow night. The Rockets have won all 3 previous meetings this season. They are looking for a 4-game sweep. That would be their first sweep of the Grizzlies since the 09-10 season. The Grizzlies, by the way, swept the season series last year against the Rockets. Currently, if you're getting ready to start your Wednesday morning, 40 degrees right now, but it's going to get up to 63, sunshine, beautiful day today. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of folks out there on the links playing some golf. Tonight, mostly clear skies, 44 degrees, and then tomorrow even better. Maybe a few clouds tomorrow, but only a 5% chance of rain. 66 degrees for your Thursday. It's time now to talk Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole.
2 watches, that's 12. Come through and slam on you. I'm in the air. Before all said and done,
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
He is DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. They're terrific Grizzlies beat writer. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichaelC. I hope you don't have to go to the All-Star game, unless you want to cover the Rising Stars game now that Vince Williams is in. I'm hoping you get some time to relax a little bit. How are you?
What's going on, guys? And you know what? I was kind of thinking about it for a second, Greg. And the thing that stood out to me is, like a guy like Vince Williams, I mean, of course it's the Rising Stars game, so it's the young players. But he has a Wednesday and Thursday back-to-back. Then he's going to fly to Indy, do media, and then play in, small, not going to, be running full speed or anything like that out there too much. But he's going to actually be on a court running up and down. Like, that's basically like the old days in the 90s and stuff, the back-to-back-to-back games. That's going to be kind of tough.
Yeah, it is, but I'm sure he's so excited about it. You think about his story, going from a player who was a two-way guy. Really, let's be honest, he was not in the plan, certainly not for this upcoming season. With the excitement around this team, with the addition of Marcus Smart, even with Ja's 25-game suspension to start the season, he would be back, and the sky was the limit. Vince Williams, not only was he not an afterthought, he wasn't a thought at all. And then he turns it into getting playing time when all these injuries occurred. I mean, again, it's a good thing for him, not a good thing for the team, but really a good thing for him that guys ahead of him, like Laravia, got hurt and missed games, like Zaire missed games. He finally gets his opportunity, seizes the moment, gets a multi-year contract, and now he's the lone representative of the Grizzlies on All-Star Weekend. That's crazy.
I mean, it is true. It's a true story. And you mentioned, how he wasn't in the plans. And I'll go to far as to say throughout the, just the fan base and just the excitement level from that draft class, he was kind of the afterthought. Jake Laravia and David Roddy were the first-round picks. Everyone wanted to see them because they were the first one. Kennedy Chandler was the hometown guy, right? He was the Memphis 5-star recruit, went to Tennessee, comes back, the point guard, kind of was looked at a point as like he would be John's next backup after Tyus Jones. And then, even beyond those three, the Grizzlies went and signed this undrafted free agent, Kenneth Lofton Jr., who, showed out in Summer League a little bit, and everybody's now like, okay, when he's going to be on the floor. So you're talking about, he was literally the fifth guy kind of in the mix in terms of excitement level and who most people wanted to see on the floor. And, what stood out to me about Vince Williams throughout all this is he really just played his role. He played his part in waiting out his opportunity. And here's why I say this, because one thing that stood out to me, I remember this was early on this season, around December. We were talking to Vince Williams, and this is what he said. He basically said that, I felt like I could have been doing this last year. Like, that's what he told me. He was like, I could have been doing this last year. And when he said that to me, the way I took it is I should have been on the floor last year. Like, I could have made the same impact. Like, I should have been on the floor last year. But never said a word. Went down to the Memphis Hustle, grinded his way through. Even early on this season, wasn't really playing much, and eventually got his opportunity and ran with it. So it's a really good NBA story.
I think it's a great story, and I certainly give the respect to the front office for taking him in the second round. I liked him because I actually had a chance to see him a few times in college. I liked him a lot. I thought that was a great second-round pick. He's exceeded my expectations. But I do fault the organization. I'm sorry, I still do, that they didn't give him a chance earlier, because to me, in camp, summer league, you've seen him enough. I can't imagine, he was crappy the whole time, and then all of a sudden he's good now. I know they go in that pecking order. This guy's a first round, like we just talked about. He's a first rounder. We're going to give those guys the benefit of the doubt. I don't like that. I think sometimes you can go to the head of the line. And I think Vince Williams finally got that opportunity. It's a good thing he did, because who knows if they ever would have found out just how good a player, how impactful a player he could be. All right, we move on from Vince. If I asked you to come up with 3 positives this season for the Grizzlies, and we used Vince Williams and G.G. Jackson as 2 of them, could you even come up with a third one?
I could try for you, but I mean, I don't think there's a concrete third. It's
I want to see you reach. I want to see how far you got to reach, DeMichael, for this one.
Here we go. I'm about to pull out the extendo arms for this one, the go-go Patrick arms. I think the third positive that you could try to find from this season is the flexibility that you've created going into the offseason as a result of the current situation. Moves were going to have to be made, and I think they've positioned themselves to build around, Ja, Des, Jaren, Marcus to a certain degree, plus the, progression of Vince Williams and G.G. Jackson. Like, there is a pathway to seeing this team compete for a championship, not just for the next 2 seasons, but the next 4 to 5 years at least, and potentially, beyond that. So the flexibility is there in terms of, like, at the beginning of this season, you knew that the Grizzlies would have 1 roster spot open after the season with Xavier Tillman, but it was hard to see them being able to move off of Jake Laravia, David Roddy, Zaire Williams, and those type of guys. They end up moving David Roddy, and now you're going to have the option. You know, if you don't like what Yuta Watanabe gives you, yes, he has the player option, but you can, you could waive him, and it's not going to, cost you a lot of money since he signed a minimum contract. Lamar Stevens, is in the final year of his deal as well. So now you have the flexibility also of a potential high first-round pick. So if that's a player that you really want, if there's a player that you really want out there, you go get him. If not, you have a tantalizing asset which you can package. And at the end of the day, I don't see too many teams that'll turn down a top 10 first-round pick for, let's say, a center in the Grizzlies case, because center is not, valued as it used to be. There's probably 2 or 3 max centers in the NBA, and everybody else, it's getting paid around that $14, $20, $25 million range at the center spot. So basically the flexibility. You got a nice first-round pick. You're going to have a couple roster spots will be open for potential free agent moves and whatnot, and that's the best position you for competing for a championship going forward. How does that sound?
That's pretty good. You did a real, and that's why you're good, DeMichael. DeMichael Cole joining us from the Commercial Appeal. You've written a couple of stories recently, one on G.G. Jackson, one on Derrick Rose. I want to get back to Jackson because he was kept out of the game, their last game, and it was a disciplinary reason. Have you found out anything about that? It doesn't seem to be too serious because Taylor Jenkins said that he expects that he'll be playing tonight. You wrote it, and I love this quote. I told him he's going to be one of the best players in the league, so act like it. That quote comes from who?
Jaren Jackson Jr. Yeah.
Jaren Jackson Jr. So what did you get out of that, and do you have more info on that?
Yeah, so from talking to guys around the locker room and then specifically Jaren, said that like everyone knows how talented Gigi is, and there's a cost in this, I would say, with their approach with him because of his age, because of, Gigi's not only just 19 years old, he just turned 19. Like, the guy walked into the league at 18. So when he talks about being a professional, I don't think you have to listen to it from the cliche perspective of, that's what all the guys say, right? You get up, you do your job, you're being a professional. For Gigi, it's really a thing because he's supposed to be a college freshman right now. Like, being a professional, the day-to-day of an NBA player is really an adjustment for him. So, like, when I say the guys are real cautious with their approach, let me give you one example. And when it happened, it was kind of a laughing moment, but, my dad used to say there's truth in every joke. So it was the first Golden State win when G.G. Jackson played well. You guys will remember Draymond Green was very complimentary of him. Stephen Curry was very complimentary of him as they talked about the Under Armour invite and all that stuff. And Gigi played well. So there was a point in that game when Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steph Curry were getting ready to check in. So they were at the scores table, and Gigi makes a nice move, scores a nice basket, and Curry makes a face. Like, he's wild. Like, oh, that was good. And then Jaren sees it, and after the game, Jaren's in the locker room, and he basically was like, talking about it. And he was saying, I wanted to tell Gigi during the game, but it was like, nah, I can't tell Gigi that during the game. I'll have to tell him that after the game. So that's just an example, because like he didn't want to tell Gigi during the game because he didn't want it to for Gigi to be like, what? Steph Curry said what? Like, and it's an age thing. That's the adjustment. Like that kind of goes into it. So I don't think it's anything long term here. Like, if you get to know just the person in Gigi, like, good attitude, great kid. I haven't heard anything concrete. I've had a person around the team tell me that they believe it's punctuality. Showing up on time for things, being late and whatnot. I haven't had multiple people tell me that, but that's what one person told me. But overall, I think it's pretty much in line with just the professional part. Like, that's his adjustment right now.
Well, I love the fact that Jaren Jackson Jr., goofy Triple J, we know how good a player he is, but, a kid at heart, but he has really matured, and to show that leadership role, even though he's not some 32-year-old 12-year grizzled veteran or anything like that. He's been around long enough now to know to take young guys under his wings because, unfortunately, you're not getting that right now from Ja. Ja may be different as far as down the road for a mentor. I think it's more going to be leading by example with what he does on the court. But Jaren Jackson Jr., with the way he holds himself up, the things he says, he's a great representative of this organization. I think it really helps to have him reach out to Gigi like he did and like you wrote about. Also, you wrote about Derrick Rose, a guy who obviously has been to the top, MVP of the league, has struggled here in recent years with his injuries, and they've mounted this year, certainly with the Grizzlies. He's under a 2-year deal, so he's here for a while, and we love having him, obviously having played at Memphis. But you wrote about him in the connection to Bob Marley's music. The Bob Marley movie, which is, I don't know if it's out this week, is coming out today. Mm-hmm. There you go. Perfect timing. Great story. Where did that come from, and what did you think about Derrick Rose and what he had to say?
Yeah, well, I've seen the signs, for a while, and followed Derrick Rose really closely. Like, he's a very deep guy. Like, everything that he has, whether it's his tattoos, what he listens to, kind of a deeper meaning behind it. Like, It's not shallow, like, oh, yeah, I just like the way it sounds, or, oh, I just got this tattoo because I thought it looked, nice or whatever. Like, very deep with him. So, he took a photo with Joakim Noah's father of like not too long ago. I think it was like last summer, 2022 maybe. And they both had Bob Marley tattoos. And then now with the Grizzlies, pregame warm-up, Derrick Rose plays Bob Marley music. And if you know how out of the ordinary that is, like the Grizzlies, as we've said over the years, like they're one of the youngest teams in the league. So it's like heavy hip-hop, heavy like just boom, boom, boom. And then Bob Marley's One Love start playing on the speakers, and it catches your attention. It's like, it's different. And, just talking to him over time, you get to realize, like, there was much more meaning. And in this story, kind of, it's probably one of my favorite stories that I've written this year because, like, he talks about, how a lot of his acquired knowledge is from the messaging of, Bob Marley's music, and things like that. And Bob Marley, like, he died in 1981, but, like, it seemed like from a popularity perspective, like, he took off even more after death because of, like, how synonymous he became with Jamaican culture, his messaging and how it still correlates to some of the things that are going on today and whatnot. So, Derrick Rose was very passionate about it. I mean, he's very easy to talk to about it. He loved talking about it. And he was born, I think, in 1988. So he's an example of, like, he was born after, Bob Marley passed away. But, like, now, like, his kids listen to the music because of him. He even, through Joakim Noah, because Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose are very close. And that's another way to tie in that connection, right? Because Joakim Noah lives in the same neighborhood that Bob Marley once did, and is very close with like Marley's brothers and things like that. And through that connection, like Derrick Rose was able to, meet the family and go to the old home of Bob Marley. And even now, he owns a ticket. A check. He owns a check from when Bob Marley. When an assassination was attempted on his life in 1976, Derrick Rose owns the check from that concert when that happened. So, it just kind of, it was like a deeper look into Derrick Rose. Like most people who followed Derrick Rose throughout his career, you realize that he's this superstar, but he doesn't really do your typical, like he doesn't move like the typical superstar. Like you don't see Derrick Rose in 100 different commercials. You don't see him like he's a family guy now. Like that's pretty much the only light you really see him in outside of his Adidas stuff and a couple things here and there. But it's not like, a lot of the other stars in the league. He's always been this very reserved guy. It's like that. Remember the video from the All-Star game? I think it was like 2011, 2012, and the Eastern All-Star team is coming out, the starters, and LeBron James is dancing, and Dwayne Wade is dancing, and the rest of the team, and Derrick Rose is standing there just like, bobbing his head. He's just
Right.
he's like, yeah, this is cool. Like, that's his personality. And I think this story kind of paints that picture perfectly for people that wanted a deeper look into kind of why he's built that way.
Yeah, it's a cool story. I imagine that maybe even has a friendship with Ziggy Marley and just that whole connection of the offspring and the Marleys that are still there, because his music will live forever. There's no question about it. And I got to be honest with you. See, I knew Derek when he was here playing for the Tigers, and shy and introverted. I mean, incredibly quiet. And he's still sort of that way, but I never knew he was that deep. And when he spoke at that press conference that you were at and I was at, it blew me away. When he was the one that came out in front of the crowd at FedEx Forum and spoke, I could never even imagine that when he was young, that he would come out of his shell and do something like that. But he is deep. You hit it on the head. That is a story that you have to read, folks, about Derrick Rose and the Bob Marley connection that DeMichael wrote at the commercial appeal. So check that out. All right, my friend, it's funny. We go through 20 minutes. We don't talk at all about the games, but it is what it is. Rockets tonight, Bucks tomorrow, 9-game losing streak, and then the All-Star break. We'll do it again next week. I appreciate it, my friend.
All right, take care, guys. I'll see you later.
Thank you, DeMichael. DeMichael Cole from the commercial appeal. Folks, you've tried the rest, try the best. When you're talking about hot wings, and Memphis is known for its hot wings, you got to check out the Crazy Coop. If you don't know what I'm talking about by now, you should. The Crazy Coop's been around now enough where you should have been there and done that. 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. And when I say do that, I mean have enjoyed their wings, where you have been back a number of times. But if you haven't, so be it. I'm giving you the opportunity right now to go ahead, heed my advice, and head on over to the best wings in town, the Crazy Coop. They're also located at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. That's the Crazy Coop Express. Zip in, get those wings, zip on out. The Bartlett location has the full menu. Enjoy the big screen TVs, all the games, all the action that's on there. Have lunch or dinner over there. You can have those wings, those delicious wings delivered to your home or office via all the delivery services. They will cater events, so make sure you ask the folks at the Crazy Coop about catering something that's coming up in your life. They're open 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. What makes them the best? Amazing seasonings. 27 different chicken wing seasonings, from the mango habanero, the sweet taste of mango. And everybody loves mango, don't you? And then the sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And then you can go really hot if you want the crazy sweet lemon pepper hot or the crazy suicide. That's just 4 of the 27 amazing chicken wing seasonings at the Crazy Coop. And again, that full menu in Bartlett, you can get the catfish sandwiches, the half-pound burgers, all the great sides, including the fried okra, the green tomatoes. It's the Crazy Coop. Check them out today, 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten, and the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. When we come back, Lawrence Dockery will join us to talk a little soccer. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts for an evening with Cal Ripken Jr., February 22nd, and celebrate a true champion. Ironman Cal Ripken Jr. played 2,632 consecutive games for the Baltimore Orioles. This 19-time All-Star, 2-time American League MVP, and Baseball Hall of Fame inductee is a true baseball icon. Get tickets at HeindelCenter.org to see Cal Ripken Jr., 7:30 p.m. Thursday, February 22nd, at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts on the campus of Northwest Mississippi Community College in Senatobia.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, It's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the new Callaway AI Smoke Driver. The new AI Design Club has multiple sweet spots across the face, making it an average of 7 yards longer than the prior model. Visit us in store for a free custom fitting at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Shop, compare, and save from hundreds of experts to turn your dream home into a reality. We have everything to help you remodel, refresh, and beautify your home inside and out. So come on out to the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. You'll find special show pricing on kitchens, baths, patios and landscaping, flooring, cabinets, windows, roofing. It's all at the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. For more info, visit memphishomeshow.com. That's memphishomeshow.com.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe in 2024. We can't wait to serve you.
Well, guys, today is the day. That's right. Today is Valentine's Day. If you have forgotten about it, haven't gotten that perfect gift yet, well, you're running out of time, obviously. Today's the day. Get on over to Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended. You could go over there and find a perfect piece of jewelry that will be certain to make her happy. She won't know that you bought the gift at the last minute. It doesn't really matter anyway. She's going to be so happy with that piece of jewelry that she's gotten that she doesn't care when you got it. They've got an amazing selection, unbelievable prices, and a great staff to help you find that perfect piece of jewelry. They're not working on commission, so they're not there to pressure you into buying anything. They're there to help you find that perfect piece of jewelry. Maybe it's a pendant. Maybe it's some earrings, a necklace. Maybe it's an engagement ring. Whatever it is, they'll help you find it. And ladies, they pre-owned Rolex watches. They make a great gift for the guys as well. Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended. Today is the day. It's Valentine's Day. Get on over there.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
And when the night falls, loneliness calls.
Valentine's Day. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd. You heard Eli on the spot for Genesis, but he is with the Ole Miss baseball team in lovely Hawaii. But not too shabby today because we're looking at a sunny day and a high of 63 degrees. I'll take that any day of the week in the month of February, for goodness sakes, right? I mean, I'll take that in the spring. I'll take that in the summer. 63 and sunny is just perfect for me. Lawrence Dockery joins us in just a moment as we talk a little soccer. You know, I think October is the best time of the year for sports. Everything comes together. Second best would be this February, March deal because you have everything in the month of February. Maybe the shortest month, but you have everything. And soccer is, well, it's year-round when you talk about European soccer and soccer around the world, but here in the States and here in Memphis with Memphis 901 FC, it's ready to crank up. They got some exhibitions coming up. The regular season will be starting very, very soon. And let me tell you something. This guy does an amazing job covering soccer. He's sort of our soccer insider. He's my go-to when it comes to soccer. He's a writer for World Soccer Talk. He's the host of the 901 Soccer Podcast on Bluff City Media. He's Lawrence Dockery. You can follow him on Twitter at LDoc93. He joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Lawrence, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Greg. It's good to be back on. How are you?
I'm doing good. Great to have you. You just dropped a story that you put a lot of work into about Jay Mims, who's the new Chief Operating Officer of Memphis 901 FC. So where can people see this story?
Yeah, you can check it out on Bluff City Media, on the Bluff City Media website, or you can check it out on the Twitter and the Facebook pages. I'm on Twitter at LDoc93, or the artist formerly known as Twitter, I guess we should say. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where it's posted.
So is Jay now the replacement? Is Tim Howard finally done with Memphis 901 FC, or is he still somebody that they lean on for information or for advice or anything like that? Or is he basically out of the mix now completely?
No, I don't believe so. I believe Tim Howard is still the sporting director. This position, this COO position for Jay Mims, I believe, is a new position that they created specifically for him.
Wow! So Tim's still involved.
Yes, I believe he's still the sporting director. Yes, as far as I know, I haven't heard anything to the contrary.
Okay, so the sporting director who makes the moves for the team, especially with personnel, is he now superseded by the COO and Jay Mims? What is Jay's primary responsibilities going to be now that you've interviewed him and have had a chance to write about him?
Yeah, his responsibilities are more going to be on the, I guess you could say, on the business side in terms of marketing and getting the team out in the community and, that sort of thing. As far as on-field decision-making, I think that's probably still going to be Tim Howard, Caleb Patterson-Sewell, and Stephen Glass.
Right, with Caleb's still there. Okay, so you wrote about it, and I kind of had a chance during the break to skim over it, and you start talking about last year. Last year on the pitch, great run into the playoffs for a second straight year, but the attendance dropped. You write that it was the lowest ever average attendance for Memphis 901 FC. What do you think the reasons are for the attendance to drop the way it has, and what was Jay's answer? Because I'm sure you asked him about how do you get that attendance back up?
Yeah, so I know at this point in time people are probably a little bit tired of hearing about it, but I think the COVID pandemic hit 901 FC harder than probably any organization in town, at least from a sports perspective, because they had a lot of momentum going from 2019 into 2020. They had the largest crowd in team history that very first game in 2020, and then the world shut down, and it just never got back to it. But that aside, since we've been back from COVID, it's gotten a little bit worse every year, and that's one thing I had a piece for it on Bluff City Media back at the end of last season, is a lot of fans were not happy with the complete total lack of marketing. There was no awareness around town. It's, kind of like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what 901 FC's existence has been the last couple of years, which is insanely frustrating because they've been one of the best teams in the league. They were the 2 seed in the East 2 years ago. They've been to 3 straight, they've made 3 straight playoff appearances.
Oh, 3 straight. Okay.
Yes, they had a nice run in the U.S. Open Cup last year where they upset Atlanta United from MLS. Mm-hmm. And so it's really kind of testing the old saying of Memphis will always support a winner, because 901 FC has been a winner for about 3 years now. But the good news is, based on my conversation with him, it seems like Jay Mims is very well aware of what the problem is, and they're now going to start hiring a lot of soccer people. In the past, it was you had people pulling double duty for both the Redbirds and 901 FC, which, if you think about it, is going to just put a lot of wear and tear on very few people very quickly. And so I think when it happened, I said this is a great hire, and now that I've had a chance to speak to him, I'm convinced that it's a home run hire. Go
ahead.
Oh yeah, and one thing that I found quite interesting is that this hire got a seal of approval, a stamp of approval from someone that you wouldn't even expect, the Nebraska athletic director, Trev Albert, who I believe hired Jay to be the head coach at Nebraska Omaha way back in the day. Said, congrats, one of the smartest, most competitive people I know, 901 FC's in great hands.
Yeah, I saw that in your story. I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm like, what's the connection with Trev Alberts? And then I saw Nebraska Omaha, and I had no idea that Trev Alberts would actually also be involved in that particular school, which is a branch of the University of Nebraska. But that's really neat. Look, I'm not a marketing guy. I don't pretend to be a marketing guy. And I know that Memphis 901 FC has done these things in the past. But there's two areas, in my opinion, that you have to go after. One, there are so many different leagues of young players that are playing soccer, both boys and girls, from ages 6 to 18. They're all over the place. My son played. My daughter played. I think everybody listening out there, their kids have played. Their grandkids have played. So there's all those different leagues, not to mention the high school teams and all that you got to get out there as far as that is concerned and get them involved, to buy tickets and come to these games, to experience something that's pretty special. The other one is the Hispanic market in Memphis. And I know they've gone after that before. It's growing. They need, and soccer's their number one sport. I can't speak for everybody, but I certainly believe that it's way up there. And not that it isn't for a lot of people, but especially in the Hispanic community. Go after that and market that. But you're right. I don't remember much marketing last year for Memphis 901 FC, even for the Redbirds as well. If they market it, I'm not guaranteed that the attendance will go up, but I think it would. It just makes sense.
Yeah, and to the first section of that where you talk about getting out and all the leagues and schools and whatnot, that's something they are very well aware of. As of earlier this week when I talked to Jay, he is aware of when there's all those youth tournaments at Micros or at the new Snowden Soccer Complex in South Haven, and they've already got they're aware of when those tournaments are and which ones coincide with 901 FC home games, so they're aware of that, and that's something they're going to try to do. And they've already started getting back out and doing the school outreach type of thing. That's something that some people will be aware the Mississippi River Kings years ago used to be so good at, was going out and doing like school assemblies and stuff. And actually, I want to say earlier this month, Stephen Glass and Caleb Patterson were at Lewisburg in Olive Branch right before their boys and girls teams played their high school playoff games. And so like some of the stuff that we as media members and we as fans have been begging them to do for years, they've heard that and they are now starting to do.
All right, so the team itself for the 2024 season, a lot of moves made over the course of the off-season, transactions, both bringing in players leaving. Right now, and it's so early, your quick assessment on what the prospects will be for 2024.
Well, in the past, I've been very hard on this team, and it's always been, when you do bad stuff, I say mean things. When you do good stuff, I say nice things.
Funny how it works that way, huh?
And I've said it all off season, and I'm still going to continue to say it. I think this has been the best off season in 901 FC history.
Wow!
They have done a very, very good job. Everything from hiring Jay Mims and creating that position for him, the list of benefits for the season ticket holders is extensive and as good as it's ever been. The players that they've brought in, the fact that in years past they were real bad about waiting until like 2 weeks before the season started to start bringing in players, and back in November they announced they were keeping 10 of the players from last season's team, and all throughout the off season, every couple of days they've got a new signing. They've made some really good signings. Had an interesting little, I don't know if it was a hiccup, but they did bring Kyle Murphy back, who was the team's leading goal scorer in 2021. I want to say he scored something crazy like 22, 23 goals that year. And then I don't know if it was necessarily out of nowhere, but he retired after he signed here. And normally that would have sent me and 901 FC fans kind of into meltdown mode. And not 20 minutes after Kyle Murphy announced his retirement, 901 FC announced that they had signed a guy named Nico Brett, who is the third leading goal scorer in USL history. They signed him from the Birmingham Legion. That is an absolutely huge, massive signing. So they've done a very good job of bringing in quality players this year. They also brought in, Jay Mims most recently was the head coach at Union Omaha down in USL League One. They signed Noe Meza, who was one of their best goal scorers the last couple of years. So I think this year we're going to see a lot of exciting attacking goal-scoring soccer out of 901 FC.
They have an exhibition tomorrow against Nashville, and then the season, if I'm not mistaken, March 9th is the opener in Las Vegas, correct?
Yes, they've got tomorrow is a preseason game at Nashville FC of MLS. That's the second preseason game against an MLS team. They had a 1-1 draw with Atlanta United, though that game was played on the Georgia campus in Athens. They got a 1-1 draw on that. They also have a home preseason game against the University of Memphis, against Coach Mulrooney's team over at the Billy Murphy Track and Soccer Stadium on February 24th. And then, yes, they play the Las Vegas Lights in the season opener on March 9th, but that is here. That's at AutoZone Park. They open up the regular season this year with home games on March 9th and March 16th are their first two games this year. Those are both at home against Las Vegas and Indy.
I'll give some advice to whoever works the website. You put the visiting team on top, you put the home team on the bottom. So you got Nashville, and then they got them on the top, and they got Memphis 901 FC on the bottom. When you look at that, the home team is always on the bottom. That's how you read.
Well, I think in soccer it's always home team is listed first.
See, they got it. Soccer always has to do things different. Doing tradition.
Soccer's been around for
I don't care
100 plus
I
years.
don't care. Do it the normal way. The home team is the bottom team. So I got to look at the opposite every time I look at their schedule. Okay, I live and I learn.
In brief defense of 901 FC, I also do believe they have a section on there where you can just click on and see what the home game.
Yeah, I just popped up the schedule. I saw Nashville, Memphis 901 FC at the bottom. Memphis 901 FC at the top, Las Vegas at the bottom. My natural thing is to read the home team at the bottom. So my mistake, you corrected me, and of course, as you know, all this, and they do a great job, by the way, with that website. Real quick, we don't have a lot of time, but is this the final year, or are there two more seasons that they can play games in the same stadium as the baseball? We've had all the controversy about flipping the baseball field, the diamond, into the pitch for soccer and vice versa. And it's been mandated by the league, by the USL, that they have to have their soccer-only stadium. We know all the stuff that has happened with the proposal from the former mayor that did not come to fruition with the state-funded deal on stadiums. So I don't know where we are as far as that's concerned. But is this the final year, or do they have 2 more years to be able to figure it out?
So the kind of official USL mandate is that by the time the US hosts the 2026 World Cup, unofficially but maybe kind of officially, the USL said that all the teams need to be in their own soccer-specific stadiums. So that, in theory, gives 901 FC this year, next year, and half of the following.
So still plenty of time. Still plenty of time to get this thing figured out.
Yeah, and the fact that they actually had a legitimate plan in place, I think, buys 901 FC more time than it did other organizations. That's something that I did ask Jay Mims about the other day, is that, where do we go from here as far as the stadium? And really all he was said on the record about that was just, hey, this is something that Craig's working on. I'm just here to do the day-by-day stuff and keep improving what we have here.
There you go.
My hope is that it very quickly became obvious to me that there were going to be issues once the state cut the check to the city, and you looked at the amount and you looked at the other projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I feel confident that if I was able to see that and others were able to see that, I feel like 901 FC was able to see that too and start maybe working on and exploring some other options. But as far as like anything concrete, I don't know. I think they're playing it pretty close to the chest.
All right, great stuff as always, Lawrence. We really appreciate it. Again, check out Bluff City Media. Check out his latest story with the new COO, Jay Mims. You can read him at World Soccer Talk. You can listen to him on the 901 Soccer podcast on Bluff City Media. Also, follow him on Twitter at LDoc93. We'll talk to you down the road, Lawrence. As always, great stuff. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
Take care. Guy knows his soccer. We need to take a break. We'll come back, wrap it up for this Wednesday, this Valentine's Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to ask you a question. As you think about a Valentine gift for your lady, I want you to think about how big her smile will be, how long that smile will last. A nice box of chocolates might last 3 days, and then it's gone. A romantic dinner for two, just the two of you, might last 3 hours at the most, and then it's over. Even a beautiful arrangement of flowers is only going to last at the most a week or so. So what can you do to make that smile and that joy last? The answer is simple. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and we can show you gifts that she will cherish and enjoy for years. For over 38 years, we've been wrapping red Valentine packages, making thousands of Memphis men heroes. Whether you spend a lot or maybe not so much, you can't go wrong with a stunning piece of jewelry from Russell Brothers Jewelers. Beauty, quality, value, and service. That's what we've provided for our customers for over 5 decades. Let us help you make your Valentine happy. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on Carol. She's more focused on hitting a high note than the car in front of her. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park, we got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store. With 20 employees along with complete inventory of items, big to little, finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and Weber grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, even new keys with key fob programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws, you need it. East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Quince and White Station.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Valentine's Day to you. Final few minutes here on Sports 56 Mornings. It's been quite the show. If you missed any of our interviews, you can check out the Sports 56 Mornings podcast or the podcast of any of our shows on the website, sportsmemphis.com. We break it down hourly. We have some particular interviews that are on featured audio, so you can get them on featured audio. You can get them on the podcast. You can listen to the shows. It is a technological world that is advanced to make it easy for you to listen at your leisure. But thanks to all the great guests that were on the program. Tomorrow, we're back at 7 a.m. Once again, Eli in Hawaii with the Ole Miss Rebels baseball team. It'll be Zach and myself. We'll be joined by Parker Fleming. We'll talk Grizzlies with Parker as the Grizz tonight are in action against the Rockets. Then the Bucks tomorrow night at home before the All-Star break. We'll talk Tigers basketballs. The Tigers will be at North Texas tomorrow. We'll be joined by the Daily Memphian's Parth Upajai. We'll talk some Tigers as well, along with some golf with our friend Colin Cody from News Channel 3. Jay Phillips will join us from Columbia, South Carolina, one of their terrific radio hosts. We'll talk about a number of things. There's a connection to Tigers football with South Carolina, to the Grizzlies with G.G. Jackson, plus the Gamecocks themselves. The way they have played so far this year, they've been one of the pleasant surprises, I think, in college basketball this season. South Carolina tonight in action at Auburn. I'm going to be really interested to see how that one turns out. Auburn lost its last time out. South Carolina has been red hot. Kentucky, of course, got off the schneid last night, beating Ole Miss. A&M goes down at Vanderbilt. I don't know. I mean, I know that Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina, all are strong. Kentucky, obviously. Who am I missing? Oh, Tennessee. Tennessee is still, I think, the best team in the SEC, but capable of losing on any given night. And speaking of Tennessee, they play at Arkansas. Arkansas, also one of the big stories in college basketball this year. Unfortunately, on the negative side, they did get a win their last time out. Eric Musselman, friend of the show, his team hosting Tennessee tonight. Tennessee, an 8.5-point favorite. Auburn, by the way, an 11.5-point favorite over South Carolina this evening. To wrap things up today, Jason Kelly, Travis Kelce, they do a podcast, a very popular podcast called the New Heights Podcast. So the brothers obviously had a lot to talk about after the Chiefs Super Bowl win for Travis and everything going on with Jason, the possible retirement, although I don't think he's officially announced anything. But Jason, the older brother of Travis, telling Travis that you crossed the line when you did what you did to Andy Reid. I think we can both agree on that, is what he told his brother. Quote, even the yelling in his face, too, is over the top. I think there's better ways to handle this retrospectively. Travis would go on to say that he's a passionate guy and reinforce that he loves playing for Reid, and who can blame him? Well, I said it at the time. I said it on Monday, too, on the show, that he definitely crossed the line. I didn't think it affected their relationship. I think they do have a great relationship, don't get me wrong. In the heat of the moment, he's blasting his coach because he's not in the game. That's being a little selfish. I know it's still, I could help the team, but it's being a little selfish. Andy Reid taking it in stride, that's the kind of guy he is. Yeah, Travis crossed the line. His brother Jason is absolutely right. But it all worked out as the Chiefs win their third Super Bowl in the last 5 years. Big thanks to all our great guests today. Matt Reiser, the Memphis baseball coach, Andy Borman, Tigers assistant basketball coach Jerry Palm from CBS Sports, to Michael Cole from the Commercial Appeal, and Lawrence Dockery from World Soccer Talk and the 901 Soccer Podcast. Again, we're back bright and early tomorrow starting at 7 a.m. Guess what? Dave Woloschin's next. It's Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. For Eli, who's out in Hawaii, for Zach, I'm Greg. Have a great day. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.